We're a weekly gaming podcast where our mission is simple: to bring to light and discuss topics that have an impact on our gaming hobby, and at the same time, highlighting our diverse gamer community, also remaining dedicated to our origins.
Guardian down.
Join me, Todd the Gator, and my co-host Kingsley Mack as we invite a rotating list of guest co-hosts every week to join us at the Guardian Down Roundtable. And now, let's get to it. What's up, Guardians? Welcome to episode 343 of our newly branded Guardian Down Roundtable. We're a weekly gaming podcast, and our mission is simple: 4 topics among 4 friends with a focus on our gaming community. I call us all Guardians because we have a long history with Bungie and the Destiny franchise. And our show, which was formerly Guardian Down Cast, has grown for nearly 7 years now. We still love this beloved game, so that's why we still have our shout out to Guardian Down still in our title. But we are going to be flying higher, taking a 30,000-foot view, bringing to you topics surrounding our gaming hobby overall. Topics including entertainment, gaming, the gaming industry, social media, tech, whatever else may impact our love of gaming. Every week, we invite members of our community to join us in the conversation by bringing a topic of their own that they want to share with all of us. My co-host Kingsley Mack and I will be here every week while the other 2 chairs around the table rotate. We have a hand-picked list of guest co-hosts that we will rotate throughout the year. You can catch us live every Thursday on my YouTube and Twitch channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, and the channel is Todd the Gator, TODDTHEGATR. And we have the replays on my Twitch and YouTube if you want to watch those at a later time, or you're sleeping right now in the UK. We get it. Can't attend everything live. And we also have our special video channel in our Discord called The Live Stage, where you can either listen in or watch what's going on, watch our faces talk, lips move. The one thing we do encourage, though, is we do encourage in our live shows is interaction with our chat. So don't hesitate to chime in if there's something you want to give us input on, whatever topic it may be. Our show is all about interaction with our community. So don't hesitate to jump in and let us know. We are a video and audio podcast, which means if you're listening to us right now, I just want to let you know if we are explaining anything visually, we'll be sure to keep you in mind that you are listening and not watching. And before we get into our introductions, of course, I want to introduce and welcome back my partner in crime, Mr. Kingsley Mack from the great state of Utah. How you doing, Kingsley?
Oh, you're introducing me. I'm so honored. I like how you said we're flying higher. So let's fly high and have fun.
Exactly. I just realized I didn't bring my tea, so I'll have to get that.
Oh, no.
When we break here. And of course, let's introduce our guest co-host for tonight. Our first guest co-host today was initially on our show where we heard his story back on episode 301, titled Bungie, We May Have a Problem. He's one of our highest tier patron supporters too, our raid boss tier. He's been very active in our Discord since he joined us over 2 years ago now, and I consider him a big part of our community. He's always had interesting feedback for us after shows in our feedback channel in our Discord community, and he's just an overall good dude. From the great state of Georgia, Atlanta to be specific, please welcome back the amazing Taco King. How you doing, man?
It's good to be here. It's been a minute, about a year since I was last on the show.
Yeah, that's about right. 47 episodes, 42 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time we spoke, Marathon had just entered its first testing phase.
That's right.
It's good to be back on the show, and it's great to be in the same chat with the Wonder Kid himself. It's finally good to be face to face with him, so to speak.
I thought you guys are very outspoken, so I figured this would be a good pairing. And I paired up. You'll see in future shows, guys, that I do pair up our guest host on purpose sometimes because both these guys are pretty outspoken. Well, the other second guest co-host, as Amazing Taco King already mentioned, is a longtime member of our community as well. By long term, I mean he's been in our community 6 years ago. He is also a Raid Boss tier patron of our show, so he's a big supporter of our Twitch channel. He's a big supporter of our Discord community, and we heard his story way back on episode 48. And he's known to make an appearance along with my buddy Warcry every holiday season as well. Usually when we're taking breaks in the holiday, we'll make a special Christmas episode, which is always fun. What we decide to do every year. From the great state of Ohio. Ohio. Yeah, please welcome back the Wonder Kid himself. It's Jellis Gaming. How you been, man?
What's going on, everybody? I am doing fantastic. We've had a good start to the year so far, so Happy New Year, everybody. Long time no see.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Absolutely, man. That's awesome. Well, what do we have on the show tonight, you may ask? First, Jellis is going to lead us off tonight. I got confidence in him. I know he can do it. He's going to discuss some revelations he's encountered in his years of gaming, and I'll just let him explain that further in a minute. Then it's Kingsley Max's turn to share his next topic for the show, and we're going to label this part Kingsley's Tech Corner with a K, where he has some updates on some tech and something coming to Discord that may send some ripples through many of its communities. Next, we're going to take a breather. We'll check in with our weekly Destiny Roundup, where we'll highlight any news and information concerning Bungie and Destiny 2. And I got to tell you, the TWID this week was pretty light. They didn't even bother changing the thumbnail. It's just the same thumbnail. Anyway, then we're on to topic number 3, where Amazing Taco King will discuss a trend concerning how gaming has changed over the years, and some of it might be a little troubling. He'll explain that a little bit later in the show. And as is the custom of the show, I will present the last topic of the episode today, which surrounds the Destiny franchise. There's been a lot of drama lately, and I have a kind of a hot take that you may or may not agree with, so we'll see. I'll give an update to my February game of the month so far, after which point we'll shift into our less formal portion of the show where we'll catch up, talk about what everybody's been up to since they've been on the show last, catch up with our week, and in future episodes when we have a new guest, which I believe will be next week, I believe. This is the time when we will do like a little mini interview with them and run them through our speed run segment. So, and at the end of the show, if time allows, we'll answer questions from our community as well. So if you do have any questions for us, make sure you enter them in our podcast questions channel in our Discord, or you can send us a voicemail or an email. Just go to guardiandowncast.com to find out more about that. All right. I need to take a break. Jeez, I got to take a breath. So if everyone's ready, let's roll. Hey, Guardians, even though we're now the new Guardian Down Roundtable, all the ways you can contact us are the same. Just go to guardiandowncast.com where you can email us, write us a review, send us a voicemail that we might air on the show, by the way, and even listen to past episodes where you can also search for a particular guest of the show. You know, I use this every week to find past episodes that our guest Roundtablers are from, so you can go back and hear them and hear their story. guardiandowncast.com. Okay, let's dive into our first topic tonight, and that topic belongs to Jellis Gaming. So what do you have for us tonight, Jellis?
So, what is the deal with airline food? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute, this is a gaming
tonight,
podcast.
Guys, is,
okay.
Yeah, you got to joke around. We can't
I
just
know.
be serious the whole time.
I got you, man.
So, my topic discussion for tonight is making connections with people through video games. Over the years, I have encountered many different people on the job sites. For those of you that do not know, I am a electrical construction worker. So I come across a lot of different kinds of people. Most of them are shut in, so they're quiet. They just do what they're told. Others can be outspoken. But over the course from playing video games, I have encountered some people that have played video games themselves, and a wide variety. People that play RPGs, others that play multiplayer Call of Duties type of games. And I've actually made a lot of connections with these kinds of people. A lot of them ended up not talking to me as much, but through video games, we found a mutual ground and we made a connection. And in some cases, I've made friendships out of them. It's really nice when you get to talk to people outside of work, because then you get to know them as a person. Many people you'll hear say, "Oh, I don't like this person as a worker," but as a outside person, they're really great to hang out with. Sometimes it could be the other way around. Maybe they're a great worker, but when they're at home, they just want to be by themselves and they're not a social butterfly. So I want to discuss about how when you make connections through video games, it's kind of interesting because you get to know people on a different level. You get to relate with video games. You can turn it around and you guys have something to look forward to after work. Hey man, let's jump on the game and we can de-stress and just talk about anything. How many times during a raid We've just spoken about how our week's been, how's our day going. Uh, There's other times where someone has, maybe a life scenario and they want to share that with others. Well, this can be like a safe space for them because you're behind a screen, you're not really talking face to face with people, and we have trustworthy people in this community that we can take it as face value. So video games is kind of like another therapy for me personally, and I can see that with others as well. So it's another thing people can connect with outside of work. You guys have anything similar to that? Like, have you noticed via work or any other kind of places in your life that you've made connections with people through video games throughout your life?
Oh man, where do I start? I mean, I remember Hazel and I, after we would raid, we would sit there and talk for hours, just shooting the shit, talking about anything that came up. But raids are the best. Kingsley will probably agree with me here because you're spending at least a couple hours with some people, with 5 other people in the party, and you really can learn a lot from a person just by running a raid with them. Kind of their temperament, whether they're patient or whether they get frustrated easily. I'm on the ladder camp usually. And it's amazing. Sometimes you'll hear things you don't want to hear, like stuff you hear in the background because people's mics pick up everything that's going on behind them. But no, man, I've had the deepest of conversations with a lot of people in this community. A lot of guys my age, a lot of guys not my age, where we would, I don't know, man. You're right though. There's a certain veil where you feel safe, where you don't have to worry about. It's kind of weird because when you have a face-to-face meetup, it's so different than you're talking online. It's very different. But when you're online, you just have that little bit of veil of privacy where you can still share personal things about yourself and talk with someone. But most of the time when it's happened to me, Jellis, is usually when the raid is wrapping up and it's just me and another person hanging back and talking after the raid's completed, things like that. I mean, there's been times when I'll be on talking with people, including Kingsley, well after a raid's done and everyone's already, switched to playing something else. So, yeah, very much so, to answer your question. Anybody else?
Of course, I agree. Even in a bigger sense, like you were mentioning, like work and stuff, I've not often, other than way earlier in my life, I've not often had like a regular job where I would talk to the same people every day, kind of like Todd. So like I own my own business, so I have somewhat friendships with a lot of different people, but I'm not seeing the same people every day. And there's not really much time to connect in great bonds anyways. So I've always kind of been more like talking to people either through text or voice, getting better friendships that way. I even remember I did a little bit of college in person and I didn't talk to anyone really. And then I started some online schooling, online college, and I talked to those people more than, sure, it was just text and voice chats, but like I actually got to know them better than when I was sitting in classes in college. And yeah, like you mentioned in the gaming community too, it's just really nice to have these friendships. I mean, I don't have these tendencies, but online chats can help with people that have like autistic tendencies where it's harder for them to talk in person, make eye contact, stuff like that. So I totally get that. There's a lot of reasons why just kind of online is better. In fact, and like I never like to talk about crazy things like religion or politics, but there's even some times we're all one-on-one, not never in a group, but some friends that I have in the Discord talk about some of those things like religion and politics. Even people that have different views and opinions than me. And it's kind of nice to have that friendship and a way to be more chill about discussions rather than like, in person, you might feel a little stressed because you don't know how facial expressions or what they might think or things like that. So I really like the topic so far, Jealousy. I think you can have a lot of good friendships, quote, online. There's nothing wrong with that.
What about you, Taco? Got any input?
Oh yeah, 100% agree with, gaming can build, relationships and friendships from across anywhere. I mean, how like easily best example is like just the community that we have already here. Like I've never interacted with anyone from the community in person, but there's several people that, they'll say something in Discord and we'll just go on a tangent bouncing off of each other the whole time. And it feels like a really good, strong connection and conversation. In my personal life, one of my best friends. I've never met this person before, like in person at all, but we don't talk as much as we used to. But I mean, we have each other's cell phone numbers, emails, Facebook, everything. We chat like no time has passed, even if it's been like 2 years. I'll send a text to her and she'll be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then we'll just start talking about what we did like 2 years ago, or we'll start talking about what we've been into the last few months. And it's just like we never stop talking.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny is I don't hardly anybody in real life do I talk to, you know, in online. It's the strangest thing. I just realized I forgot something in the show. But yeah, to add to your point, I know people online much better than people I talk to in real life. And even my clients I've had for 30 years. I have clients I've had for 30 years that I do not know. I mean, I know their family makeup and, their kids are growing up. I grew up with, I watch their kids grow up amongst us, and we'll talk about small and light talk, but that's not normally, you don't normally get into any deeper topics than that. It's just pleasantries, but I don't know what it is about online, but online you can actually open up and talk and get into some rabbit holes really on conversations and stuff. So yeah, Jellis, good topic, man. I think it's a good thing to talk about every now and then. I don't think we realize how good we got it, being online. We have a little bit of a leg up on people who don't experience things online, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, for real. One of my friendships, you guys already know them, Frostbite.
Yeah.
So Frostbite and I went to the same college. We did the same program, but he was a couple of years behind me. And at we had a school night where they had all the classes joining together so you could meet your upperclassmen, your lowerclassmen, all that. And I overheard him talking about Destiny to one of his pals at the time. I was like, "Oh, hey, like, you play Destiny?" He's like, yeah, I do. So I was like, hey, I play Destiny myself. I play Warlock, and then it just snowballed from there. And here we are. We're still friends. We play the game every now and then, and we don't necessarily play Destiny. We'll play other stuff. We try to hang out in person a couple times, but the distance is a little bit of a struggle. But, that friendship's been going on for 5 years now. And you blink and it's just that time has passed, but it can all come back to one simple conversation about, "Oh, hey, do you play video games?" And that it's amazing at how far a friendship can truly stem just from something simple. Those friendships to me are like the best because it didn't take much to start, so there wasn't much effort, and everything just kind of went flawless from there. It's all smooth, and you always have connections with something, and you find out that you have more in common than you realize.
How is Frost, by the way? I know he's been busy probably in work and jobs and stuff, but I haven't talked to him in a while. Is he doing okay? As far as you know?
Yes, he's doing very well. Yes, last year he graduated, he
Mhm.
got the bachelor's degree, and now he's working out in the field, so he's doing very well.
Awesome. We'll need to talk to him down the road for sure, man. Need to reach out, I guess. And that's another thing. The thing I know this is terrible to admit, but I don't call my mom every week. I know a lot of people will call their mom, want to talk to their mom and check in and see how they're doing and stuff. And my parents have had RSV, and my sister went out of town, and my sister's like, "Hey, just check in on them, make sure they're okay." RSV can last 6 weeks. It's just a nasty flu, nasty virus, and they've been struggling. My dad's lost his voice. I mean, it's really gotten bad. But the thing is I can send a text and just say, "Hey, Mom, how's things going this morning? You okay?" "Yeah, we just went to the doctor." "Well, what'd the doctor say?" And it's so easy to do that when we're so busy. But what people don't realize is DMs are just as good, or if not better, than just texting someone. And this way you don't have to know their personal phone number either. You can still text people in your community. Just check in, see how they're doing, which I got to give a shout out to Mr. Admiral Nips. They talked about it last week, so I can mention it. He works for a company that, let's just say he works for a company that checks your poop to see if you have colon cancer, or at least the markers, that you might need to get it checked. My wife did it, by the way, and she tested positive and she got checked out and everything's fine. But they started with this new test where they can actually find markers for if you have cancer in your body or something starting. And he actually tested positive, and he had a very rare form of cancer that they caught so early because of this test that they gave him to the employees. It's a $600 test, blood test, I think. And because they gave it to all the employees and they'd have to pay for it, he found out so early that he had a very rare form of cancer, and they're attacking it right now. And Admiral Nips, if you're listening, man, our heart goes out to you, man. I'm with you, man. Anything you ever need, we're thinking of you. I'm always thinking of you every week, man. So it's the kind of thing where you just don't know, man, when things change up, things change in your life. And as we get older, it's so much more frequent that your friends have issues, So anything else anybody wants to add? I don't want to dominate this conversation. What do you guys, anything else? Pen pals.
I'm good.
I remember pen pals, JD Kent.
Pen pals. Oh my gosh. I never did that, but I
did.
Had friends that did.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was talking to someone in Thailand, I think, when I was in high school. It's really weird. But, okay. Thanks, Jellis. Appreciate it, man. That's a good, nice, light topic to open up with. So we appreciate you, man. All right. Kingsley is next with his tech segment. All right, Mr. Kingsley Mack. It's Kingsley's Tech Corner with a K. That's what we're going to name it now. What do you got for us this week, Kingsley? What's going on in tech, man?
Yeah, patent pending. Who gave us that suggestion, by the way? We can't take credit for that. There was someone in the Discord.
I think so.
That was me.
That was you.
Jellis?
Excellent, Jellis. I thought
me.
so. I wanted to make sure.
It was the very first night you guys were talking about it. I just went and chat on Twitch. I was like, Kingsley's Corner, and I spelled it with a K. You guys were like, ooh, that was
That's
nice.
actually pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have to put the word tech in there, but it kind of makes sense because that's often what I talk about. But I have a couple updates because people are always interested. And then my main topic is about change coming to Discord. These will all go very quick. Interesting point. The Steam Machine pricing and availability has been delayed. It's not too surprising in a way because we've talked so much about RAM pricing going through the roof, SSD pricing going through the roof. Because of this, Valve has decided to delay announcing the pricing where they originally said we would have known the price and availability by now. They still are committing to have it come out within the first half of 2026, but this is nothing but bad news. Now, you can't blame them because everything's going up in price, with the inflation and the RAM pricing and stuff, but it will probably be pretty sad when we do find out the price, unless they cut into profits tons and totally sell it at a huge loss.
Yeah.
It's, don't get too excited, people, on what the cost may be because of just everything getting more expensive these days. So,
I wanted to add to that because
I
was listening to a business podcast today, and they were talking about how they're talking about RAM and memory, period, not just RAM, but any memory device going up 100%. And they say probably for the next few years. And I was like, wait, Kingsley already talked about that like weeks ago. But it was just now finally trickling down to this finance business podcast I was listening to. And
because they're not into tech. I mean, I wasn't, I heard it from other tech people. It's not like I came up with it first, but yeah.
You tend to hear things a little earlier than we do. So I always appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, there's analysts that think we could see $1,000 price point, but then other people said like they could go nuts and just sell it at a loss and have like a $600 to $700 price point. So we will see. I'm sure we'll know more about that coming up. Very quick update on AI stuff with Gemini and Apple. That's getting pushed back a little bit. I believe at least Max was interested in some updates on that. And I will talk more later on how they are doing the private cloud compute to keep it secure and stuff. Some of those details are still coming out. But the initial beta and release of it was supposed to be in the 26.4 update, which is just starting to become beta and would come out in 1st of April. But Apple just announced that it's not ready. So it'll probably be in the next one. So it could be summer to late summer, probably at the earliest, but we will keep you updated on that.
Just to clarify,
I'm really excited though about the Gemini.
Yeah, just to clarify, that's where
Apple AI.
That's where they're going to fully integrate Gemini into the Siri, a part of the phone.
Well, I don't know what you mean by fully integrate, and we don't even know all the details yet. But But yes, Gemini will be a type of AI. See, it's not even necessarily replacing Siri. We don't know all the details yet, but what can happen is like you say things to Siri and then Siri just passes it to a Gemini private cloud compute of using the Google models, and Apple would have it on private servers. They have a partnership going on, so it'll be very secure. So no data is going, they're not training on your data. But basically, yes, some kind of integration in the phones, details patent pending, we will find out. But yeah, Gemini would be Apple's preferred AI partner.
Yeah, it's ridiculous right now because I'll ask Siri something and she goes, "Do you want me to check GPT for that?" I'm like, "Duh." So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to Gemini. I'll just go to Google and just ask Gemini. And it's so much smoother.
Yeah, and I don't think like it's not like you're going to have to stop using ChatGPT. There's still almost every platform has multiple tie-ins and things you can do, but like again, the default one would be Gemini.
Of all the things Apple's known to be so good with, Siri really has fallen behind. So just my 2 cents.
Well, it was never a AI system anyways, but they were just kind of trying to decide who they were going to go with. But the biggest news, in my opinion, in the last week is huge news about Discord deciding to do required depending on what you want to do, required adult verification system. So sometime in March, and we don't know all the details, everyone's accounts, plus or minus, there's some exceptions, will default to teen-based accounts. And this is in the name of having things more secure and sensitive and everything like that. And if you want to access adult servers, or if you want to access other features that, in my opinion, aren't even, quote, adult, which I'll get into those in a second, you have to prove that you're an adult. Now, some details, this is a little up in the air. It's kind of funny how there's like 3 different ways this is going to go. That alone shows you that this whole thing is a mess. But supposedly, one way that this can go is if you have enough history with Discord, based on games you play, things you've done, they can kind of assume you're an adult. To me, that seems iffy, but okay. Another way is you can do a facial scan. And what that would basically be is other things have this already, where you kind of just do like video selfie and you kind of like turn your head some and do certain things, and then it analyzes it and like, oh, yeah, you're an adult. And then the third way you can do it is using the service like a ID.me thing, where you kind of upload your
ID,
your driver's license, which could prove you're an adult or whatever.
That's pretty brutal.
Here is, and I'll get into all the details in a second. Here is where we will likely run into problems, at least in this community, is one of the things that's considered a, quote, adult feature is being able to speak on stage in this channel that we're in right now. Not the regular voice channels, but stage channels. For some reason, they count that as an adult feature. So imagine down the road, Todd, like we're trying to get guests on the show, and we always have to prep people now. We're like, oh, be sure you did your verification in Discord to prove you're an adult, because if they didn't, or they don't want to, we're going to have issues where people can't speak on the stage channel. I could see this being a big problem down the road. Here's some of the other interesting side points. Being a technologist and futurist and everything, I have mixed feelings about this for sure. I've always been kind of like a proponent of open internet and things like that, and security is big. And there's a lot of ways that this could go bad, because in my opinion, it does not make sense for each individual little vendor to do ID verification. Discord should not be doing the verification. So-and-so shouldn't be doing it. It really needs to go with just a couple trusted sources. Here's how it would be so much better and easier. Just have it go through Apple if you're an iPhone person, or Google, some Google service if you're a Google one. They've already been having these discussions like, oh, you want to have certain apps on your phone or on your computer, and they need to approve you're an adult. It should be the apps, your main identity provider that can do that. At least I generally trust Apple. I mean, sure, things can happen down the road, and I might change my opinion on that, but it would be much more likely for those big companies, Apple and Google, to have a system in place that they can prove you're an adult and then pass that information down to Discord, or pass that information down to all the apps and stuff, so that it'd be much more secure in theory. easier and it's a set standard rather than Discord has this amalgamation of 3 different things that aren't even going to work. There's already been reports that people can fake the selfie scans. Kids have found out ways they can scrunch their face to look older. They even admit in the tech briefing that it's within a 1.5 year accuracy. So if you're trying to prove you're like 18, but let's say you're actually a 17-year-old or 16-year-old, you could still pass as an 18-year-old, but you're not really. So you could still be getting into trouble with stuff or with adults and stuff. So
it's true.
That's not great there. So it's like, why do we have like 3 different things? Like either go all into ID, which I don't really like either, because there's already been data breaches with Discord too. They've had this going in another country and they had a huge, massive data breach of ID information with this. So I do suggest people, when this comes up, don't do the ID way. If anything, do the facial scan, do the hope that they'll just mark you as an adult as it is. One last point, and I want to think what you guys, see what you're saying, but I wish this could be more of an opt-in. Obviously, if you have an adult-based server for adult stuff in it, then yeah, you got to prove you're an adult to get into that server. Yeah. But for servers that aren't doing adult stuff, this isn't going to help anything, because if someone accidentally posts an adult image in the channel, it could still be there for a split second or a little bit of time, no matter if you've marked yourself as an adult or not. So that's not going to help that. And then also it's just messing up with the voice chats and stuff. So the whole thing sounds weird to me. I don't love where it's going. I'm always in the middle of the road. I'm sure I'll get verified through the facial scan right away, because I kind of need to have that adult status for a lot of things I'm doing in different Discords, but I don't love it. So what do you guys think?
Jellis?
So I had a question with the Discord, the grandfather feature, as I was taking it, when you were saying how they'll take precedence of what kind of games you're into and all that. Do you think they'll do a automatic upgrade if you've been in Discord, let's say, for 10 years? Because if you've been in Discord for 10 years, to me, I don't see anyone below the age of 8 in a Discord, like starting in a Discord. Now, I could be wrong. You have games like Roblox and Minecraft that are, kid friendly, so maybe there's Discord servers for that. But I generally don't see anyone younger than 8 years old in Discord. So then after 10 years for them, they would be 18 at that point, and then if you join when you're older, 10 years down the road, then you're automatically old enough. So do you think they're going to look at it like that? If like they just choose, hey, if you're just a member for such and such years, you're automatically just going to become, an adult per se?
Probably, but it's still not proving anything. It's just kind of like how adults can buy alcohol for kids. Well, if someone really wanted to, a kid could use an adult's account that they didn't care to use anymore. I could see even a whole little black market of like kids paying adults to do the facial scan to prove, you know what I mean? Like, that sounds a little absurd, but you never know. It could happen. But yeah, just to get back to your question, I mean, I would probably be one of those accounts because I've had Discord forever. Obviously, I'm an older adult, so I hope I don't even have to do the facial scan. But yeah, that's to be determined for sure.
Yeah, I was wondering like if that would be something that could be a possibility, but I agree. Like some servers, I think it should be on the, how you want to say it, the people that created the community itself should be invite only kind of. So when somebody wants to join, the leaders of that community have to do that process and look at that account, and at that point see who wants in or not. And let's say there's bad servers out there where people are just letting anybody in. At that point, then to me, it falls on the people that are supposed to be in charge of the users then joining those inappropriate servers at that point.
Yeah. Shut them down if they're not checking for kids in some good way, like
correct.
Make it required for them to have some kind of age verification. But like, I'm really concerned that, I don't know why stage channels is I guess you could say, well, we don't want kids talking with adults and crazy things, but why just the stage channel? Why not all the audio channels?
Right. Well, I think it's because
they're only doing it for the stage channel.
Because there's pictures, because there's video. That's probably why.
Well, you don't have to. I see what you're saying.
Right,
yeah,
like right now, Kingsley's not having a camera on, so he's just, he could just be chatting like this the whole time.
Because you can do video. I guess that's why. Yeah.
We are an 18 plus server. And I think what we're going to do in the future, Kingsley, is probably there's an onboarding feature since we are a community server now in Discord, but there's an onboarding process we can put through everyone that joins us, of course, after people have already joined. They don't have to go through that process. But I think I want to work with you on this because I've really been wanting to work on our onboarding just so people don't get stunned by all the channels that stare at them in the face. I know, shout out to Native Raider with his Power World podcast. His server is really, when I first joined his server, I had to go through his onboarding program. Man, it was so smooth. And I think that's the way we're going to do things in the future. And that's probably where the age verification thing will come in once they get it where it's not such a mess.
Maybe. It's not in the onboarding right now, though. What you're thinking is a totally different thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So
what's that?
I hope they add that too, where we can say people can't even be in the. I hope they do actually add a feature where it's like people cannot be in the server unless they've verified. But then again, you might have some people that will refuse to verify, some high profile people that we know and like. And then what are we going to do? I guess we're going to have to kick them out. So it's going to be a big discussion. So
back in the day, if we had a lot of our members who brought their kids in, their teenage kids that were like 15, 16 years old, and we gave exceptions because, they wanted to game with their parents. I don't know why, but most kids today don't want anything to do with us. But, they love Destiny and they wanted to play Destiny with their dad with the group of people. The only problem that presented is a lot of these groups that play, especially later at night, tend to get a little R-rated. And I always worry about kids listening to that. But then you figure, well, kids probably aren't going to be up that late anyway. Maybe there's an after hours time, but that we rely on our own community to police that stuff. And, there's also the fact that any moderators in our Discord, because we're a community Discord community, they have to go through stringent 2-factor authentication, and I guess they've had nightmares where people have hacked servers and stuff. So I don't know. I think as Discord gets more popular, Kingsley, I think things are going to become more stringent, and it's going to become more mainstream way people get together. And I know there's other methods of doing live podcasts like this, like StreamYard, and there's others out there too that really love it. But I really think Discord really offers a lot for what, we don't pay anything really, but we boost the server to get extra benefits in it. But I don't know, man. Didn't Amazing Taco King throw a article out there about how they're already having some backlash, some issues with it? Like it's having issues with other communities. Is that true? Or I haven't looked at I just perused the article on it, but
yeah, I'm curious. That was actually an article that I got a lot of my information from too, but I don't know if you have anything else to add on there, Taco,
you got anything?
I mean, from that article, I mostly skimmed it. I didn't go into too much detail on it because it's stuff that me and my friends, we have our own Discord that we talk in all the time. And the guy who basically made it, he's been one of my best friends for years. He's a huge technophile, so like he's into everything. He works with Linux on a daily basis. He likes to play with like kernel level stuff all the time. So me and him have talked about this in the past where they implemented it, for the UK and Australia. And that article goes into detail on it. But the main highlight that I read from it too is, I think it was 2024 is what they said. The year might be off, but 70,000 government issued IDs were hacked by an outside group of hackers. And they were in talks with Discord to try and have a ransom scam.
Oh my God.
Discord has had issues with stuff like that where they've had data breaches, and their defense at the time was, well, we relied on this third-party company to be more protective of their data. We were wrong. We're sorry.
Yeah, that's
and then, yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, that's what Kings was alluding to, how they need to have one or two services that oversee it all. But there again, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then further in the article, they source like some Reddit posts and some threads that they have in there that the author of the article updated and put into the conversation there. Is like one person was skimming through the service they're going to be using for this, which is, I think, KID Technologies is what the company's called. And it was saying, like, in their privacy policies, they were basically like, well, we don't save your data. We hand it off to someone else.
Great.
And we're not sure what they do with that data, but we hand it to them for verification. So it's like, all right, so Discord's giving our data to one party, who in turn is giving it to another party, who may or may not be continuing it down the line to another party.
Then it ends up
So
in
there's like
Russia.
4 forms of like security you need to figure out there for just one verification process.
Then you get that
Yeah,
weird
it's
text
so
in the
not
middle of
great.
the night from a Russian prince who needs your money.
Well, it's worse than that if they get your ID
Yeah.
information.
Oh, I
Boy,
know.
I just wish like we could have something through Apple and Google, if you trust them or not, that could then just say, okay, yes, we approve that you're an adult. So I at least feel a little bit better with that than Discord, the way they're trying to do it.
Right. I mean, so I have a more cynical take on that, because I mean, it's very thinly veiled that, oh, it's for the kids' protection. But the kids' protection comes from the fact that it's like you have, I mean, and it's not everyone. It's a general statement. So there's where the cynicism mostly comes in. You just have negligent people out there just like, oh, Timmy wants to go play on the computer? Yeah, sure, do whatever you want. I'm over here working on my project for the week or whatever I'm doing. And then it's like, now it's the company's priority to raise someone else's child, because why teach them proper etiquette on technology, which is, I grew up, I was born in the 90s. I don't sound like it. I don't look like it. I look like I could probably go to high school, the next day. But I grew up in the literal turn of the century and the turning point of technology, where it's like we went from literally in the course of 15 years, 8 tracks, cassettes, CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, microprocessors. So it was like you had to learn. It was literally part of like state curriculum and federal curriculum. Like, here is how to properly interact with the internet. Everything is forever. Don't do something that can haunt you. Don't give out personal data. Don't do this. And that's just developed over time, where now we're in the age of information, or in some cases, the age of ignorance in certain circles. But like, you have 2-factor authentication for almost everything now, and people still have to make multiple accounts because, oh, I forgot my authentication password, or I lost my authentication key the other day to, Authenticator app. I don't know what to do. It's like, you don't have a backup for any of this. This is like common knowledge from 20 years ago now.
I think that would be a good topic for a future topip, Kingsley, is security protocols. No, I mean, what actually works?
A whole another rabbit hole we're going down, but it's so funny you say that. Like, I deal with that every day.
Guardian Roundtable PSA.
I mean, is 2-factor really the best? I mean, really, we don't know. Is Authenticator app the best? It'd be good to answer those questions. I'm sure there's a lot of people have those questions out there. Not to derail.
Yeah, there's plenty we can talk about.
That's just an aside. It may be something we could add in a later show. Yeah.
But I love what you're saying, Taco. Yeah. And it's like, people need to just, I don't know. Yeah. I'm usually kind of in the middle, but I'm also a little more on the side of open internet and just taking care of privacy on your own, because the main thing is when we start having laws that people don't understand technology, it always gets shoehorned in a bad way. And at least being a technologist myself, I know some better ways, but Discord's not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that also brings up another topic too. In that sense, it's like you said, how it gets kind of shoehorned in a thing, and that's just where it's like legislation tries to dictate and mandate what should be happening in a pastime, like a hobby. Like, I don't need someone to tell me how to dictate my hobby. Like, go away. I don't need your laws in how to tell me how to shoot in Call of Duty. Just
That's the problem. The people who are passing our laws don't know anything about technology. That's what's scary.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And maybe I'm jaded too, because even though I do, and I'll go more into detail later when we do catch up and roundups and stuff like that, but I work in automotive for Tesla. So I have to deal with technology to an extent on a daily basis, but I'm mostly just a parts guy. But I'm also moonlighting and trying to get cybersecurity certifications as well, because I want to eventually move to a more stable field.
Nice. That's definitely a big field to get into.
Right on.
Okay. Anything else, Kingsley?
Well, we can, anything else, not from me, but Jellis or Todd. Good topic, but love to hear if you have any final thoughts, and then we can move on.
Jellis?
Well, I just wanted to back up what I was saying earlier. You can only do so much. You can have your moderators do things. You can have the owners of the community do things. But at the end of the day, if people are still getting on at that point, it just goes on to the negligence of what Top King was saying. Like, at some point, they got to realize, hey, this is not your area. You shouldn't be in this community, or you shouldn't be watching this video. You can only do so much. People can make fake accounts. I mean, I'm guilty of this back in the day when I wanted to watch the Call of Duty trailer on Steam. I lied about my birthday just so I could watch the video game trailer for a rated M game. It's easy to make a fake account on Facebook. It's easy to make a fake account on Discord. You can lie about your age all you want. There's so much you can do, and there's still going to be simple ways to get around it. So at the end of the day,
Hey man, we all did that.
Right. So if the target audience is for underage people, and the underage people are getting into circumstances that they shouldn't be in, at that point, for me, it's negligence of who's around them that is allowing them to do this. I mean, maybe they don't even know, but they should be probably monitoring their child or sibling to not be doing these things. Teach them properly, like, hey, you need to be doing stuff that is your age group. Don't be trying to act like an adult. You got the rest of your life to do that. For now, act like a kid, stay like a kid. There's no need to try and act like an adult.
It'll all be automated
Thank you, everyone.
Before long. I think everything will be face scanned in the future. They won't scan your face, they'll scan your eyes. Anyway, once it gets easier and less expensive. Thank you, Kingsley. Appreciate it, man. I like those topics, man. I like those updates. They give a lot of information. So, all right, we're going to take a small breather here, and we are going to do our Destiny roundup for the week. We'll do that when I return. Okay, boys and girls, as is our homage to our roots as a Destiny podcast, we check in with Bungie, see what's new, if anything, in Destiny 2, and I guess in Marathon now as well, since it is a Bungie game. We finally got some form of response from the Destiny community lead, DMG, where he stated in a tweet, quote, fully understand the lack of information is leading to a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Our teams are working to get you updated as soon as we can. Can't apologize enough, end quote. And this, of course, brought a lot of our usual venom from the community, but also some thanking DMG for at least talking with us and connecting.
But hold on. Opinion, that's a nothing response. I mean, no offense to the guy, but unless they can give us like, okay, we'll tell you more within a 3-week period.
Don't shoot the messenger.
No. I know. I just said that. But unless he can actually say something like, we'll tell you more within a 3-week period, it's a nothing response.
Well,
it's like it would have been just as good if he said nothing,
Someone even threw out in Houndish's chat that it was a drunk tweet. I'm like, okay, whatever. We can't verify that he was drunk when he sent that. He's the community manager. I'm sure it's worrying him. He gets all the heat, man. But
this tweet can be summarized in an email.
Yeah, really. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. One thing I did find out this week, though, is Sony has adjusted its sales expectations for Bungie due to less player engagement in Destiny 2 game. And the Marathon pre-orders have been at the top of the sales charts for PlayStation and Steam. In fact, they topped out at number 2 at one point. I'm surprised pre-orders have been that strong. I got to be honest. Maybe this is due to, Bungie's magic of their latest trailers, and they talk about the different shells and stuff. I mean, I'm not even really into the game, and it got me excited. But yeah, so Sony is adjusting its expectations a bit. They did devalue it already, technically, so that it makes sense that they follow suit and maybe not hold Bungie's feet to the fire so much, especially with Destiny 2, being it is an 11-year-old game now. So, but this week in Destiny, oh boy, another information-packed TWAB this week. I did want to mention that, they did the time trials with using a sword, a glaive, and a bow. And there was an emblem to get. Well, they're doing it again. They're going to do it. They call it the Praxic Time Trials. It starts next week. And all you have to do is just have a Praxic blade equipped. You can never unequip it. You can't switch it out. But there's a really, really nice emblem here. But here's the catch. You have to run through the Equilibrium raid in under 20 minutes. That ain't going to be me.
Oh, the dungeon, not a raid.
I'm sorry, the dungeon, the Equilibrium dungeon. Sorry, I always think those are one and the same. 20-minute time limit. They recommend 3 players, no shit. we would like to see duos and solos complete this though. The only thing about the loadout restriction is you just have to have the Praxic blade equipped at all times. And I'm sure that the UI or whatever, the API will tell them if you take it off or switch it out. You can use Eager Edge. You can use any form of ability skating, rocket jumping with micro missile framed grenade launchers is allowed. What is not allowed? Unequipping the Praxic blade from its weapon slot and skipping ahead or passing any dungeon encounters without completing it. And all 3 fire team members must be in the same area when the encounter is completed. So, and they're saying if you can upload it, if you want to upload your video to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, just use the hashtag Praxic Time Trials. That's all capital P, T, and T. And be sure to include full results tab from the scoreboard in your clip and the Bungie ID with the numbers of your fire team's members in the post. And they'll have another emblem you can earn there. Valentine's is here. So they gave us a little gift pack in Eververse. I don't know if you guys have already got it or not, but you get a Sunshot ornament. You get an Amour Dance emote, and you get 2 shaders, Crimson Passion and Crimson Valor, which I believe I already have those. So there is that. This was kind of interesting, though. They have something they're offering Twitch streamers called the Rogue Signal Overlay. And listen to this. They've partnered with Get Wrecked, which does a lot of overlays for like OBS and stuff. What I'm doing tonight, what I have here, that's all an overlay. I put it together. You can use this overlay, and they have a dashboard. They have a dashboard link if you want to click it. And you can you can use pre-existing challenges or come up with your own challenges to complete on your stream. And what it is, when you start the Rogue Signal activity on your dashboard, a poll will be triggered, choosing 4 challenges at random from a bucket of challenges, allowing your viewers to vote on the challenge that you take. Polls will be manually triggered when you're ready to go, with voting and challenges all automated by the GetRec system. Completion of challenges will add resources to the progress meter, and failure will result in 0 progress. So throughout the stream, you or your chat mods will take on a role of Dredge and Bale, triggering a Barrent Imperium invasion on your stream. Their goal is to steal resources from you, but your audience will be tasked with fighting back. A visual cue will show on the stream invasion that is happening with a progress bar, and your audience must hit an engagement goal by using the Praxic Fire emotes to repel the attack back. If the community challenge is successfully completed, no resources will be removed. If it fails, resources will be taken away from the progress bar. On filling the resource bar completely, the overall goal will be completed. And they have a full instructions on how to put it together. There's even a tutorial video that they have. There's 2 links in the This Week in Destiny, if you want to look at that. New player guide. They've added the enemies and allies. They added another paragraph, Kingsley, to the new player guide. But here's the thing, man. We've been knocking this new player guide for a while now, and I want to share it live tonight, just so you know what it looks like. It's actually not bad. I was really looking it over here, and it's not really bad. If you're a new member, I'll put it on the screen here. If you are
but it's bad that it's not in the game.
Well, if you are,
no one wants to go to a website.
If you are a new member of, that's it. I'll share it on the Discord. If you're a new member and you're trying to figure out what is all of this Destiny 2, how do I get started? It's really nicely laid out. It tells you how to get started. Then you move down here, how to install the game, how to make a Bungie.net account, which is, these are things you got to do. It tells you how to pick your class, what the classes all do. And you can click no, you can't. Okay. I thought you could click those, but no. You can choose your look. It just basically holds your hand as you go through this. And you have a table of contents here where, that's not a whole lot. That's actually not a whole lot of stuff, but there's related articles you can grab here, like what is the tower? Available content, expansions, seasons, and more, navigating the menu screen, your Guardian subclasses, abilities, and gear, understanding the director, the world screen. And then there's a path for new players. And then they just added number 8, enemies and allies. So I just wanted to show you that. I know we talk about it every week, but I figured, you know what? Let's at least show everyone what it's about this week. So Other than that,
So we can be done talking about it?
Yeah. We're done talking about it.
Graphs forever.
We're done talking about it.
Week after week after week.
Bungie has made adjustments to Bungie name requirements. So make sure you look this over. There's some new rules now. I guess there's been some naughty people in the Bungie community that have put some naughty Bungie names out there. So they're making this change on February 17th, which is in a few days. So look at the new updates on the TWID to see what you need to have in place if they give you that Guardian number, blah, 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 and take your name off. Trials of Osiris returns. They have the hand cannon back this week, and that is it for Destiny this week. Another nothing burger of a TWID, really. But, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's basically the same. I was just putting in our private chat that it's the question mark week of a nothing TWAB. I think we're going on week 5, I think, Kingsley. Week 5 of nothing in the TWID. So it is what it is. Any comments from anybody on anything I talked about Destiny-wise there? Anybody want to comment on any part of that? Okay.
I might try to do that trial.
Go for it, man. 20 minutes. I'm not that good. I can't do it in 20 minutes.
I mean, I just looked at it. The difficulty is only in normal mode with no feats active. And I already rocked the Proxic Blade.
Yep.
My fastest time is, I think, like 29 minutes. I'm right there.
All right. If anybody can do it, you could probably do it. Get in that flow state, Jellis. Get in that flow state, baby. Do you have something?
I'll be streaming if I decide to start doing it.
I'll be there. I'll watch it. Anything you want to add, Taco?
No, I mean, I read through the TWID earlier today, and like you said, it's mostly a nothing burger. But so I just have a fun comment for that new player article guide they have there.
Okay. We lost you. We lost your audio. Say again. Say it. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. We have internet issues out here in the Boondocks country.
You're in Atlanta, man. Come on.
I'm
outside Atlanta. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
fine. I get it. I know that area pretty well.
I live near cow pastures. Okay,
I got you, man. I got you. It gets cow pastures really quick.
No, just the comment on that new player guide there. Does anyone remember gaming manuals back in the day?
Yeah. What would they call them? Mm-hmm. What was the brand name?
Brady Games. Brady Games.
I used to love those manuals. They were beautiful color, and they were like really good quality magazine, like helper guides and stuff. I loved it, man.
Yep.
I love those gamer guides.
And there's Prima guides.
Prima
guides were a
that's
good
the one.
Too.
Prima, that's the one I collected.
Yeah.
Really good quality guides. Oh, I did forget one thing. Marathon has an open beta that they are running. It's called the Server Slam, February 26th. I'm assuming it's going to be from 26th through March 2nd. In other words, you're going to play the week before Marathon. They're going to have an open beta where they want you to slam their server. They want to see if I guess they're going to pressure test it and see how many people before it starts upsetting everything. But keep in mind, Marathon said we're going to have what was it? Independent servers or not peer-to-peer? What's the other thing that's not peer-to-peer?
All dedicated servers.
Dedicated servers. So we're going to find out if it is actually dedicated. My money is on they're still using the same peer-to-peer system.
No, they were not. Okay. They'd probably even get in trouble with some like legal stuff if they're not. And also dedicated versus non-dedicated has nothing to do with if they get slammed or not. You still have to have servers, but a dedicated server means that you're not sharing the instance and it's passing along to other users too. Yeah. So in fact, dedicated servers, it's more likely to get slammed, but if they have enough of the servers, then we'll be fine.
Scarlet Maddie also mentioned the Marathon does have an ARG going on right now. Barely anyone pays attention to that though. So, some people like that stuff. Too bad it's not Destiny, right? Anyway, I just want to mention
and it's doing really well in China, supposedly. Like there's huge excitement coming out of China.
They did a play test over in China and people were really excited. They looked like everyone was enjoying it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, let's get on to our next topic. That is going to be Mr. Amazing Taco King. We'll do that right after this. Hey, Guardians, if you would like to ask us a question for the show, Head over to guardiandowncast.com to send us a voicemail or email us with your question. However, the best way to send us a question is to write it out in our podcast questions channel in our Discord community. You can access it on the Discord app on your phone or on the web. It's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. Don't think about it. Just do it. Do it right now. The links are in our show notes. Later, Guardians. Now that we're all caught up with Destiny this week, I'll turn it over to Amazing Taco King for our third topic of the night. What do you got for us, man?
Well, my topic comes from a personal, trend I've seen in games, personal experiences and stuff that I've done, because I'm like the antithesis gator. I play everything, and I'm young and amazing at everything. But I gotta heckle you some.
All right, fine.
But like my main background from gaming has always been RPGs of some kind, whether that's, action RPGs like Diablo, Path of Exile, Titan Quest from back in the day. The second one's actually, still being developed, and I got into the early access on that to see what it's about, and it's shaping up pretty good, to like action adventure shooters like Mass Effect, big story RPGs, Borderlands for that, first person shooter ARPG experience. Like just RPGs in general is mostly where I reside as far as like my comfort zone in gaming.
Okay.
But I branch out to everything except for sports games, because I don't really care for sports or driving that much.
Okay.
But the trend I've noticed, like over, I guess you could say, the decades at this point, because that's as long as I've been gaming, is it's almost like a bell curve of like where games started at, and like they didn't have a lot due to technology limits or like bottlenecks from certain things in player choice and expansion. But then like towards the middle of that period, like even in like tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, you could see like a trend where it's like they started out, it's like here's the solid foundation we're going to build off of. And going further, it's like a bell curve of like, we expanded this, we added more selection and decision making here, we added more skills, we added this, and like to newer versions of those said things is like less. Perfect game example for like a series that you can look at is the Elder Scrolls series.
Mm-hmm.
Daggerfall had like, I think 40 something skills in it. It had omnidirectional combat based on how you moved your mouse and interacted with the environment. It had different actions that you had to highlight for those old DOS style games, where it's like point and click adventure games essentially. Mm-hmm. But it was an action RPG at the same time. Then you got into the next game in the series, which is Morrowind, and they moved into that 3D space. It's no longer DOS 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, whatever the graphic era of that time frame was, and it's now actually like full 3D polygons, and you can go anywhere, do anything, but the skills shrank. Now you're down to like 36 skills. You have less interaction with non-combat focused skills and more, combat focused centric skills.
Right. And
it used a D20 attack style to, calculate how things interacted with each other. The D20 is the style of Dungeons & Dragons combat. I don't know if anyone didn't know.
That was
you roll the D20, it calculates your chances, and then it just throws it out there.
Gotcha.
And determines hit or miss and success. Then going into the next game, you have Oblivion, which graphics wise, you could say was better, but it did create a lot of Play-Doh monsters in most of gamers' opinions. But then you had action reactive combat. It didn't have weight to it, but when you swung your sword, you didn't roll an imaginary dice in the background and see if you succeeded. You actually hit what you were aiming at. And you had the same amount of skills, but they were less impactful. Then now fast forward to what is essentially considered the golden standard of action RPGs or modern RPGs nowadays, Skyrim itself. From, Morrowind to Oblivion, Daggerfall to Morrowind, same features.
Mhm.
Looks prettier, less choices, less features, less interaction. So, I mean, that trend alone, and that's over the course of Morrowind came out in, I think, 97, and Daggerfall came out 94 or 95.
Mhm.
So you're talking over like a 15-year period there where the game went from, wow, this is really open, in depth, and amazing, to here's where you're at, here's what you can do, but it looks pretty, right? Have you guys noticed stuff like that in your individual like gaming sessions or your favorite games going through like these years?
Well, I have to speak from a shooter perspective because that's me. I play shooter games. I've dabbled in MMOs, but my games are shooters, man. So I have to go back to Battlefield. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, the progression, the depth, you would have carbines, 10 carbines. You would have assault rifles, 10 assault rifles. You would have shotguns. You would have 10 shotguns. Every weapon class, you would have 10 guns. All you would unlock as you rank up your rank, right? I'd become closer to 100. The problem, the thing that I love that kept me playing Battlefield for so many years, I would grab one gun for the week and I would get so many kills on it that I would unlock every little ACOG sight, better grip, full metal jacket bullets, all the way down to FLIR scopes and realistic scopes and stuff that you're getting for your gun. For each gun. And then they came out with what was similar to what they did to Battlefront. When they came out with the Battlefront games, they came out with these games that were beautiful games, but they were shallow as a puddle, man. You had like four hand blasters. You had like 5 like heavy blasters, and that was it. And I was like, this, and unfortunately, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5 went that same route with that same, it's like they had a pattern that they just superimposed on the other franchise. And that's the reason people weren't playing the game anymore. And I think that's the reason why Battlefield 6 has lost 90% of its player base since it launched last year, the end of last year. I think what happened is there's no progression. There's no weapons to unlock a bunch of stuff. And that probably is crossing over to what you're talking about with unlocking skills and stuff in the MMOs. Man, believe me, it has been very disappointing, and probably why Destiny has held on to me for so long, because now we have really pretty eccentric build crafting we can do with our weapons and our armor together and our abilities. And I think that's what a lot of games are missing right now. So yeah, that's where I approach your topic. The fact that everything is so shallow now as far as progression. And man, that's me, man. That's what I love in Destiny is I love the progression game. I like seeing number go up. I like seeing that I've unlocked and I have all these collections of set bonus armor now in my vault. Now my vault's about to explode with armor and very little guns because there's not a whole lot of guns. It's just some blasters. And there's still plenty of guns. Kingsley will knock me back on that. There's still plenty of guns in this game. But the fact of the matter is with Battlefield is, and probably, I would probably say Call of Duty, even though I haven't played it in a while, I have a feeling that the progression systems have become much thinner. And I don't know if that's because they have to spend more resources making the game pretty, or maybe there's so much space for these games versus the older games that maybe weren't photorealistic, but they were still good, like 1080, but had so much progression in them. And I miss that, man. Soon as someone comes out with a shooter game like that, where there is so many things to unlock that you're going to be there for a year unlocking this stuff, that's the next game that's going to get me. So curious what everyone else has to say.
I come from it from a slightly different angle. I don't know that I have noticed because I actually do prefer more having things a little more action, RPG based, simplified, and with great exploration and prettiness. That being said, I don't want there to be less heavy RPG games out there for the people that like them. So I don't know if I've really noticed, except for maybe one small example, and this isn't a great example, but it's the only thing I can think of. But when some of the Assassin's Creed revisions I were going through, and there was a few in the middle where a lot of people thought they went overboard on some of the building that you could do, and then they simplified it in the next game. I actually preferred it in the other one probably because, to be fair, they didn't do it well. So it wasn't the fault of complexity, but a lot of weapons were not worth going for and things. I also like Expedition 33, where it's a little bit more action-based RPG because you have a little bit of like the gunplay you can do mixed in with stuff. Sometimes I get bored to death when it's like, choose an option. Okay, choose your sub-option A. Now choose your sub-option B. Now choose your sub-option C. Okay, now you can do a thing. I like to be like in the elements of just fluidity and seeing stuff, and I'm a very visual person. I don't want to be thinking in my mind as much picking options. I want to be doing that a little bit and stuff. But I'll have to take your word for it, man, that I would probably have to agree without really knowing that there are less high-end RPG options these days.
Jellis, you haven't spoken yet. You're a big gamer.
So I got a couple different topics related to changes, but I'm going to choose one that might be the most of people. I'm going to choose Pokemon. So back on the Game Boy Advance, that's where I started my Pokemon journey. You had I think it was like a 16-bit game where it was top-down view. The story was pretty linear. It was easy to pick up on, and you could trade with other people if you used a physical cord, link up to another device, and you could trade or you could battle. As the years progressed, the details got more enhanced, so we went to the Nintendo DS Lite, so then you had a top screen and a bottom screen.
Mm-hmm.
So on the bottom screen, it was like your secondary where you could have like a watch or radar going off, and the top screen was your character moving around. When you were doing your fight battles, the bottom of the screen was your actions, and the top part was like more for your cinematics. Then on the Nintendo 3DS, they started going into more, I want to say, the 3D aspect now. They're adding depth to the game. Like your character, instead of moving up, down, left, right, you could actually like go forward and back in the foreground. In the background, I mean, my bad. You go forward and back in the background. Then on the Nintendo Switch, you added a whole nother aspect to that. And I started losing the love for the game because it was changing. And I thought it was fine the way it was for many years. They were able to make their own story with a new region, new kind of Pokemon. But it was still the same storyline where you went through, you did the same stuff, different enemies. And they just started adding so much to it that I was losing my like for it. Now, in the most current Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch 2, it kind of made it more like open world. And when you do your fighting now, it's completely open. So you could be fighting, and instead of selecting your move and having it turn-based, your 4 moves now have like a cooldown timer, and it's a live fight where you attack, they're attacking, but you can attack at the same time, and you just use this move. Well, now you gotta wait 6 seconds before you can use it again. Whereas before, when it was turn-based, you could just click on that move, attack, and then they would do their turn, and then you would hit the same move again. I liked that back and forth. Now it's just like free-for-all. That aspect of changing all the way back from a 16-bit game to adding all this extra stuff now, it's just like crazy. You were able to trade Pokemon between almost all the games on the Nintendo DS. Then they added this thing called the Pokebank, and you had to subscribe to it. So then you could send your Pokemon into the cloud. And then if you wanted them on a newer game, you had to link that game up with the cloud software, and then you could download it back. I was like, whatever happened to just taking my device directly to another device? And that was it. Like the hardwire was gone. The direct linking was gone. Now you got to use the cloud, and then that's an extra service. So I definitely didn't like the change that they went into. That's just my opinion. Other people, I they like it. But that's my 2 cents on changing over the years of something that I grew up with and what it's like today.
Okay. Taka, you have any final things you want to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, with what Jellis was saying there with Pokemon, I think that's one of those good examples of like you had a good solid formula and then you tried to do too much. A good thing that you could probably relate off of that same topic there, Todd, would probably be Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7. 7's where they started changing the formula a lot more. But those were the solid, like, easy, good games you could just like load up, start the mission, go to town, and then you're done.
Now,
the
new Origins, they had it where now you have to meet certain time limits. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, I just want to.
Yeah, you're stuck behind story lock chapters, and you have to do skill mastery in order to progress.
I love timers. I love timers in games. I got enough timers in my life. I don't need more in my game. Sorry. I get that in.
The other thing with the Dynasty Warriors too is in the Origins, like you just brought up, like they added too much to it in the opposite direction to where it, a lot of those old school players don't want to go to it because it's more, I wouldn't say it's Souls-like combat, but it's more action reactive combat. Like you have parries, you have dodging, you have all these different combos, you have the breakers for guarding, and that wasn't in the original games where now more modern action games is like, everyone has a reactive combat. Like you need to know how to parry. You need to know how to deflect. You need to know how to do this.
I played the beta on that when it came out, and I was not happy with it. I ended up playing it. It's too bad. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention?
Well, I know one that I could probably throw at Kingsley. Maybe he'll try it. As you played both the Outer Worlds, correct?
Yes. No, actually, I didn't play the first one. I have to admit. I was going to.
You should try and go back and play the first one and just do a real quick comparison.
Yeah, maybe I should, but then I thought I got the
Yeah.
impression that the first one had more, and then I wouldn't like it. I would actually prefer the simpleness of the second one. Because that was kind of going with my point. I like the more
I'm not faulting anyone.
action exploration with light RPG. That's me personally, not heavy RPG.
Well, the only thing that
But I should try it.
You don't even have to really like get too deep into it. Just like do the like character creator comparisons. Because in Outer Worlds 1, it was more akin to like Obsidian's Fallout New Vegas game, where it's like you got 10 skill points, you put them into whatever you wanted to. Whereas in Outer Worlds 2, you get a skill point, and then every couple levels you get a perk. So you didn't get to really like expand your skills more fluidly. You literally had to either find areas you wanted to go to and then make a note of them later for like, oh, I need 3 demolition to go back to this area. Whereas in Outer Worlds 1, you could have a character who had 20 demolition and 20 gun skills, so you did decent damage, and then you could break into that vault that you couldn't necessarily break into in Outer Worlds 2.
Okay. Well, yeah, because RPG and skill element type things, I do have a certain mix where I like to bring it in as long as it's adding to the. I'm a very big picture guy. If it's not too heavy on that and it adds into an easy enough way to get more exploration, I don't mind going other places and getting more things. I just don't want to be doing like the same thing, very linear, and then having to like pick so many different options just to do like, in my mind, what would be a simple task,
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And at the core of my topic, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing seeing this trend. It's one of those things where like, one of the top trending games is Call of Duty. Back in Black Ops 2, that probably had one of the most robust customizations for classes. Because I remember there was a perk where you could like change how many attachments you had for either your sidearm or both guns.
Yep.
And then you could choose whether or not you wanted to go in with a gun, period.
Yeah.
Whereas in the new games, it's like you have to have a main weapon, you have to have a secondary weapon, you have to have a melee. And Black Ops 2 is like, you want to go in with just a knife? Go for it. Have 7 perks and a knife? Go for it.
I hated those players. Run around with a knife. You would run so fast, they would come and knife you, and you'd be like, ah! Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Kingsley.
And then Taco, we both play Diablo. How would you rate that? Do you like its level of, and I know it can ebb and flow. Sometimes they add extra complexities with crafting things, and then they pull back and then they add more and stuff. But how do you like it in general these days?
So for Diablo, because that's like the core of my action RPG like origins. I was playing Diablo back in 1998 when it first came out for Diablo 2.
Me too.
And I was playing StarCraft alongside it because I was a huge Blizzard fan back in the day. That was really the only games that we had growing up at my dad's house was StarCraft and Diablo on the PC. So throughout the years, I would say Diablo's development has been one of those where you've seen a steady increase in the trend of giving player option and different like build crafting ability. Diablo 3, in my personal opinion, took a step back, but the way they did it was so well implemented that it gave you options, even if it was slightly less to a degree, but they expanded those options by changing the fundamentals of your skills. So instead of like, oh, I'm going to put 20 points into teleport and do this and get some lightning bust from this skill over here, like a Diablo 2, and then from Diablo 1, you had to have spell scrolls and other implements from your gear to make your build. Diablo 3 was like, we're just going to give you all of your skills. You can make a custom build with these skills. You have to have certain skills except when you turn off this quality of life feature. And then each skill is going to have a different modifier based on what you equip to it. So for the wizard class, for example, which is very close to the sorcerers from both Diablo 2 and Diablo 4, the Hydra skill. You had a rune in Hydra that changed it from fire damage to arcane damage, or from having a 3-headed Hydra to one giant fire Hydra that shot a flamethrower instead of shooting fireballs across the screen. So Diablo 3 implemented a good change in that regard of taking some of that, choice away. And then Diablo 4 kind of flipped the script back again. We're like, well, we know you guys like Diablo 2 better than Diablo 3 because it's less cartoony and more grim and serious. So let's implement Diablo 4. We'll give you the old skill trees, but we're going to add the fast-paced action from Diablo 3 that you all seem to like with seasons, and we're going to make a live service Diablo 4 that's Diablo 2 plus 3. And then with the new expansion coming out, they're implementing that Diablo 3 style where you're going to be able to change your skills to different subtypes of build categories. Like they showed it on the Diablo stream the other day from Blizzard where Hydra will now have a frost option instead of just being a fire skill.
Exactly, yeah. And I like with Diablo 4, even though it has a fair amount of breadth to it, you can start off at the basics and still do okay for a while, especially if you're playing on easier versions of the game. So that's the thing. A lot of games can do it well where you can have great complexity that you can opt into in a way. I don't like games where it's like, Baldur's Gate 3, I know people hate me. They're like but you had to have all the complexity right at the very beginning.
It was very complex.
Yeah. But Baldur's Gate is one of those
games.
That's just how D&D
is. But
that's just D&D in general. But I think Baldur's Gate is one of those things where the tutorial's thrown at you so quickly that it has a sense of urgency of like, you need to move, you need to go, things are blowing up, go, 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 go. But it's throwing so many things at you at the same time. And it's like, I don't have time to read this novel you throwing at me for 3 seconds and then go do the combat. Baldur's Gate is one of those things where it's like, you're either going to take your time in the beginning to learn all the fundamentals, or you already know the fundamentals because you played Divinity, which was their other series, which they're bringing a new one of that out.
It's coming.
Because they use the same engine for Divinity as they did in Baldur's Gate, and the turn-based tactics, it's always been a lot of fun. They're great games, great development studio. That, like, Baldur's Gate's one of those games where it's like, if that's not your thing, you probably won't get into it unless you take a serious amount of time to learn the fundamentals, or you have someone that likes those types of games and is willing to walk you through everything.
Yeah, me and Kingsley tried it.
Yeah, for sure.
It was we were all over the place. It was a lot.
I loved it.
I know, but we weren't used to those games.
But
we're used to clean.
We always want lots of options.
Yes,
but I agree. We want to have lots of options out there, and I don't ever think like, just because I don't like certain types of games, that we should have less. And even just taking this at a higher level view, you could say some reasons why maybe things have gotten simplified over time is just for safety in the gaming business world, because they might be afraid that they don't want to take risks or whatever. But we still need to have crazy games that have millions of options and crazy builds and all this stuff. And we don't want to get too homogenized and too simplistic.
Yeah. No, it's definitely very intricate, I guess is the word you could use. Intricate systems is not a really good selling point for a lot of gamers, because the goal of the gaming industry and entertainment in general nowadays is just get the buck, not really create your art. So because you appreciate, how much detail went into the ferns of, one of the worlds in one game, someone else can be like, but I want the gun to shoot, fire rockets instead of this bullet. They're just going to try to appeal to that easier crowd versus like the more, well, I want the 10% damage buff from this to give me the 5% damage buff from that and incorporate it into this other skill type to give me extra resistance from that skill type.
Right. Well, it is
options is great, but when you have min-maxers, they're the ones that tend to ruin that experience for everybody else, because it's like, if you don't play this way, you're not playing correctly.
Well, I thought it was a good topic, Amazing Taco King. I appreciate you bringing that to us. I can only relate to you with shooters, and shooters have fallen down the same path, man. As games have gotten prettier, the progression systems have gotten much simpler, and I don't know if that's a graphics restriction in some kind of data restriction in the game. I don't understand. Or maybe they're spending more time and manpower making the graphics where they don't have all the time to make the deep progression in the game. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. I don't like it. And there's going to be a studio that comes out and brings back the old Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3 days, and people are going to jump all over it. They're going to cling to it. So, good topic, man. Thanks for bringing that with us to the table tonight, man. I appreciate you. Okay, the last topic is mine. Okay, as we wind down to our last topic tonight, I'm going to take a 30,000-foot view and fly over the Bungie studios tonight, because I don't know, I've just been thinking about this, all this radio silence we have between us and Bungie. We're not getting a roadmap. What's the future of Destiny 2 going to be? We've also speculated, what's going to happen over 2026 with Destiny 2 content. And we start asking the question, everyone's starting to come around to this question, is this the end of the Destiny franchise, at least for now? Or at minimum, is the Destiny 2 live service environment starting to wind down? You start thinking end of days, the game's been out 11 years now. We've also seen leaks about the next year of Destiny 2. Shattered Cycle, I think, was supposed to come out in July, which is supposedly based in Old Chicago. And then The Alchemist in the winter of 2026, which Mara Sundaresh, I believe, is supposed to be back for that. And we're still waiting to hear officially that the next free major update, Shadow and Order, which was supposed to be dropped the same week as the Marathon launch, if it's even being delayed. They still haven't technically said that it's going to be delayed yet, even though some of the API and the Eververse system is showing that it is going to be delayed by quite a bit. That aside, Destiny gamers are kind of starting to feel that the Destiny franchise just isn't as important to Bungie, and that the studio is really banking on Marathon to carry the flag for the next few years. I've heard rumors of Destiny Classic. We're going to bring back Red War and Destiny 1 and remake it for PCs. And I've even heard they're going to make out a mega expansion where we're going to combine Shattered Cycle and The Alchemist together. Whatever the case, Bungie has really never gone this long keeping the Destiny community in the dark. And it does give me pause. But I started thinking about it a little bit more. I know I've played this game since day one of 2014. I remember the long months of radio silence while playing Rise of Iron. That was the last content drop before Destiny 2 came out in Destiny 1. And God, I remember running around Fellwinter's Peak. There was just nothing to do anymore. And you started creating your own content. I did it by creating new characters and new accounts. I just redo the progression. I told you I'm a progression guy. I like to see number go up. But I think the content drought lasted like 6 months before we heard anything about Destiny 2. So is history repeating itself here a little bit, or is it different this time because we have another game, another flagship game that Bungie's launching? The one thing that I am confident to say, and this is a hot take, Sony will never, ever abandon the Destiny franchise. If you look at the gaming industry these days, 1.8% of all games released reach a player count of over 100,000 players. 1.2%, 50,000 to 100,000. 5.4% reach 10 to 50,000 players. 16% reach 1,000 to 10,000 players. And listen to this. Over 75% of all the games released today don't even hit the 1,000 player mark. Important fact, nearly 47% of games released on Steam sold fewer than 100 copies. To add to that data, look at the entertainment and gaming industry. Nostalgia rules the day. They're remastering games. They're a hit. Sequels to long-standing franchises. It's just a pattern for success in gaming and in entertainment. If you look at the Marvel franchise, just one example alone. On Steam alone, in 2025, they released 20,000 games. And even though 98% of these games were original IP, only 0.7% of these games are considered a hit, with over 100,000 copies sold. If you look at the top 100 sellers on Steam, 80% of those games were AAA franchises. These established franchises get all the attention and all the revenue. Bungie peaked at 1.3 million concurrent players on the very launch day of Destiny 2. They sold 5.4 million copies over that time. And since then, they've peaked around the 300,000 mark with subsequent releases. And we all know what those releases were, Lightfall and Final Shape and all of those. But the thing that qualifies as in that top 1.8% of all games, and it's got to be Destiny. I would even say that the Destiny franchise is probably in 1% of all games released. There's a reason Sony paid billions of dollars for the Destiny IP and Bungie. They know the stats for new game sales. Even though Sony lost some notable value, 30-something%, with this acquisition, they know that the future looks bright for Bungie games, and especially the Destiny franchise. I know that sounds like a hot take right now with the way the Destiny franchise looks to everybody, and I know the player count's been dwindling. But think about how many live service games have lasted over a decade. It is a very small list. And if the success of the Fallout TV series is any indication, what's to say Destiny 2 can't work as well as an entry into this entertainment segment of the gaming industry? So whatever Sony decides to do with Destiny 2, I really don't see this game going anywhere. And Sony will certainly not throw away that IP in the recycle bin. They can't afford to. I know that the current state of the Destiny 2 is in a holding pattern right now, and Bungie has certainly taken some missteps with that portal system where they've effectively shrank the whole game into one single interface. Where it used to be, we used to be able to, go through all the sprawling universe of planets and all the numerous storylines through all the years we've played this great game. I was just on Two Titans and 100 podcast last week. I was talking with Night Demon, Parody, and Noble, and there was someone else from their community. And I told them that if I was the head of the studio right now, I would gather the troops, combine the original Destiny game with Destiny 2 into Destiny Online. I know I've said it. I don't know. You can take a drink, guys. I'm talking about Destiny Online again, but they need to make a Destiny Online that includes both games and make it playable on PC. I would sure as hell play Destiny 1 again if I could play it on my PS5 Pro at 4K 60 frames. And I have spent thousands of hours wandering that world. Nostalgia at its best. I think if this was possible, and I realize this would be a major undertaking, but it would buy Bungie the years and years of development time to craft the next iteration of Destiny. Now, here's the thing. If you think about it, Marathon took a lot of dev time to create the systems, the maps, the character shells, not to mention the PvE element that they put in the game. But Marathon is basically the Crucible and Gambit with a little seasoning. Once these systems and the content's in place, all Bungie really needs to do is just maintain the servers, have a smaller team create season pass content, maybe create a new map or two over the next year. It doesn't really rely on major story plots. No big, giant, fancy campaigns. It doesn't require all the expensive cutscenes that Destiny certainly uses. But the most important thing of all is that Bungie has finally made a repeatable activity with PvE and PvP elements mixed in. But they aren't on that never-ending content treadmill that involves major campaign expansions and new activities and new weapons for that campaign and new themes and on and on and on. This is basically their separate PvP game where players will just keep repeating the same game over and over again within their systems, just like the Crucible, just like Trials of Osiris did, and even Iron Banner if they ever decide to release it again. So with all of this doom and gloom, deep down, I'm not really worried about Destiny's future. I know it'll be here, and I know as we as gamers are so hungry for content that we're going to devour it so fast that Bungie will never really be able to keep up with it, at least not with this current system. I think they need to create a new Destiny game that is ultra deep in progression. They need to have customization where players can show off their individuality and tie into the long game with systems that make for a hobby and not something that's to be consumed, leaving nothing behind to enjoy about the game after you've consumed it. I don't have the answer for what that is, but I have faith in the talented people at Bungie with their decades of player data. They know where we've been everywhere in this game. And I think they'll use that data to craft their next game. So I know I went all over the place with this. I know it was more of an editorial, but I really am curious what you guys think about the future of this game. And I know we've had this conversation a lot, Kingsley. I realize that. You don't have to remind me. But I got to thinking.
I'll remind you.
I got to thinking about it, man. Marathon really is going to be almost a cruise control game for them. It's like a PvP game. But what do you guys think? Is the Destiny franchise winding down? Is it going to go away? Is Sony going to throw it away? Lots of questions. So I'm just curious, after my diatribe, what you guys think about it.
Yeah, you threw everything at the wall, of course.
You know what? When I was writing this last night, Kingsley, I knew exactly you were going to say that. But I'm just curious. I know it's a lot. I know I threw a lot out there.
Because then if you throw everything at the wall, if one of the things are true, you can be like, But
that's how I win. That's how I win, Kingsley.
Anyways, yeah, but then you win 5% instead of 100%.
It's a win.
I think they call that hedging your bets.
I know, but
bets.
Seriously though, I really do believe in that hot take. I don't think Destiny's going anywhere.
Well, you said both Destiny Online and a new Destiny game.
Yeah.
You can't really have it both ways.
Why not?
You had to pick which one's better, which one do you think? Do you think they have enough people to make both right now?
No, that's what I'm saying. They'll have to gather the troops. And think about it, Kingsley. When everybody's done making all of the content and all the initial systems and stuff, the development time, the meat of the potato, if that is such a word, they're all going to come back to Destiny. And I think that'd be the time to bring back Leviathan Raid, bring back Red War, so players know what the hell is going on when they join Destiny 2 and they don't have to read it off a web page.
They still won't have enough time or people to do both things, a Destiny Online and a new Destiny game. So which one would you have to pick, if you had to pick one?
Well,
what do you think is more important,
short term,
I guess is what I'm asking.
Short term for the next, what's going to carry us for the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, I think a Destiny Online could do it. They could they could have a separate team that starts throwing in extra things every now and then just to keep us busy playing stuff. I'm forever the optimist. Even if Destiny is down in the dumps, I'm still going to sing its praises. You'll never stop me doing that. Even though I've been kind of down in the dumps lately myself. I haven't been playing a ton of Destiny either, guys. The systems they have now are just boring. And they've taken away from the hobby game. I can't do anything else in the game but what's in that solo ops.
If they make a Destiny Online stuff, they still can't, even if they're doing that short term, then that's pushing back a new game without having more people. They really need more. When we've talked about Sony investing in them, which I agree that Sony should do, but that's a different topic than Sony giving up on them, which you're bringing up tonight. But I just don't think they can be making a Destiny Online and a Destiny 3 at the same time. You know what I mean? They can't even make a Destiny 3 unless they get more people, in my opinion. You know? So there's no way they can do a Destiny Online and a Destiny 3 at the same time, you know? So that's what I'm just saying. You're throwing everything at the wall, but anyways,
I gotta read what JD Kent said here. It's so funny. My conspiracy theory is Bungie is mad because they couldn't sell that Iron Banner set back in Eververse, so they took their toy home, and now you can't play with it. That's why we don't have Iron Banner. Is that what you're saying, JD Kent? Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kingsley.
Interesting. Did you even hear what I said?
I heard.
Okay, cool. Well, you're saying Destiny players are saying that Bungie is not taking it serious anymore. I don't know that really that many people are thinking that. Actually, it's more nuanced. What we're thinking is that we're upset that they're not communicating. It's a fine line, yes. I mean, some people can think like, well, they're not taking it serious by not communicating. But no, I think they're taking it seriously internally, but they can't communicate with us yet. And I actually do blame some of that on upper leadership and Sony, because they have to focus on Marathon right now. They're not allowed to communicate with us right now because they don't want to take the focus away from some of those things. So that's one point against management and Sony.
I understand that.
As far as Sony not abandoning them, they already kind of have a little bit with devaluating and such. So that's like another point against Sony. You say Sony had a reason for buying them. I truly think they got bamboozled quite a bit. We know leadership of Bungie kind of talked up the game more, and they were pitting it against Microsoft and other studios. And I do think actually Sony got a little bamboozled by Bungie. So that's another point against Sony.
But a counterpoint, that's on Sony. They're in the video game business. They need to do their due diligence. That's on Sony.
I know. That's what I said. It's a point against Sony.
Okay.
That's 3 points against Sony right now, against Sony.
Okay.
And then when you also said they can't afford to, let's say, okay, I don't think Destiny is going away within the next year, but because they already have the plan for something, but it might the year after. But anyways, they say they can't afford to stop supporting it. Well, I mean, that's the sunk cost fallacy talk. Like at some point, you don't just say, I can't afford to stop doing something. No, at some point you got to cut things off, or else you have the sunk cost fallacy. If player numbers keep dropping and dropping and dropping, is Sony supposed to say, we can't afford to stop doing Destiny even though player counts are dropping? No, at some point they really should at that point if player counts keep going down, or else you get into the sunk cost fallacy.
I realize that's a hole in my argument.
All that being said, I think what's happening here is they do need to make a new game. And I think we've said this a million times, and they should have done this years ago, kind of had a ramp closed plan. You know, they can come out with a mini version of a Destiny Online, but you can't have development keep adding things to it. They just need to have a one and done, like, here's some content that we're bringing back that'll keep us interested for 3 to 12 months or whatever, you know, depending on the type of player. And then you can be working on another game. But unless they're hiring other studios in, you kind of can't be doing both projects at the same time. And they really do need to make another game, because that's how you're going to get people excited. So many people have left that you will never get back unless you make a new game. It doesn't have to be a Destiny game, though. It can be another Destiny type game. We've mentioned that before. That's what I would prefer. But if not, then Destiny 3, sure.
It's gonna take 5+ years to make a new Destiny game. They have to have something to tie us over, to keep the eye on the ball, to keep our eye on the ball. And think about it, Kingsley. We all have our hobby games, regardless of new games that come out. We all have our hub games that everybody plays. They call them black hole games, like Call of Duty. Or some people will play Call of Duty. They'll buy Call of Duty every year, even though there's other games that are coming out. I mean, for the longest time, I only played Destiny. They need to have something that will engage players. If they do the Destiny Online, it will totally fix the new player problem, because they'll be able to play all of the original campaign storylines.
Oh, that's so short-sighted. Do we seriously think back then the new player experience was perfect just because we had the Red War campaign? People were still confused getting into the game brand new.
The only thing I was confused about is when the stranger left.
I guarantee. Well, you played Destiny 1, though.
I'm
talking about, I know actual new players that came into the game
Really?
And just because we had Red War back then did not mean that the game was not confusing.
You
know
lose.
what I mean?
You got knocked off the ship. You lose everything and start from scratch. How is that not confusing?
No.
You're
You're not looking at it. No, you're not looking at it right. Like I'm talking about like systems, like actually learning the game. Like we don't have a good new player experience,
I
like
agree.
teaching systems and
I
everything
agree.
like that.
That's true.
Just bringing Red War campaign back is not going to fix that. We need to have way better systems teaching and everything like that.
I see. I think.
And then
I
one
think
last
they can.
thing
I
is
think they can learn
Sony-
from all of these mistakes into the next game. I agree with that. But like I said, I think they have all of these assets. I think they just need to use them. They're already bringing them back from Destiny 1 anyway. Why not just fully do it? But go ahead with your last.
And then with the entertainment stuff, why haven't we had something yet? You can say TV shows and movies take a while to make, but it's not looking good. It should not be taking this long.
Missed opportunities.
And so I think that's another point against.
I agree.
I just think that they're not giving up on Destiny, but at the same time, they're in panic mode and they need to figure out, they're trying to figure out internally what they want to do right now. And I don't imagine it's going to be anything that amazing. It's either going to be lame, we keep Destiny 2 as it is with even less content because we can't even keep up with this schedule, or they come up with a plan where they pivot and tell us we're going to make a new game. And that'll be painful too because we'll have to wait for that. But that doesn't mean they're giving up on Destiny. I just think a lot of these other points you're making are kind of sub points that Sony is not great with all this. And it gave Bungie the money they needed. Bungie might have actually gone out of business sooner if Sony didn't take them over, but the whole thing has been kind of a shit show.
I mean, I'll admit, when I was putting this outline together last night, it was a stream of consciousness of just everything I've been thinking about with the game. And yes, it's a little all over the place. I understand. I agree with that. But there's just the fact that Destiny is in that 1% of all games that have been released in the last decade. I mean, I understand there's the staple games like, the games that still are big today but what's the common ground there? They're all PvP games. They're shooter games. They're PvP games. They're games where you're playing against other people. Okay, World of Warcraft is the exception. But for the most part, they're PvP games that are repeatable and don't require a whole lot of reinvestment into that game. They give us the toys, they let us play in the sandbox, and then they walk away. Destiny is different, man. Destiny it's almost like a movie studio. They have to make a whole new movie every major campaign. That's a lot of time and resources, man. I just don't think they can keep up.
There's a lot of games more than PvP. There's all the Diablo games. There's the World of Warcraft games. And see, that's the perfect example with Diablo. You can't keep a game going forever. We're at Diablo 4 now, right? And why haven't we made a new Destiny game by now?
Activision wanted to do it. Bungie said, peace out. Yep. What do you got, Jellis?
Yeah. So I don't think Sony's giving up on Destiny, but I just we got to figure something out.
All right.
And we need to figure it out stat.
So TLDR is Kingsley's depressed. Don't talk about anything until Destiny 3.
I'm not depressed.
Until Destiny 3 is mentioned.
I am not depressed. I am realistic and upset.
I know you are.
I'm upset that it's gotten to this state. Yeah. I'm not depressed.
Go ahead, Jellis. We'll let you talk now.
Sorry, I talked a lot, guys.
I did.
Please give different opinions or same opinions.
I knew this would stir up some shit. I love it.
So, buckle up for this one. Okay?
Oh, boy.
Bungie has already been here, and they have already done this. Okay? This is literally a repeat of history. So, back in 2012, Halo 4 came out. Okay? Very big, very nice. 2013, at E3, they announced they were releasing Halo 5. In 2014, they released Halo Master Chief Collection, which had all the Halos besides Reach all in one package. So you could play all the campaigns, and they had multiplayer for each individual game as well. So you could play online servers for Halo 1 or Combat Evolved, and then you could play online servers for Halo 2, 3, 4, and you could co-op the campaigns.
Was that successful?
So they did that. They released that in 2014.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Then, that was to buy time. So they announced Halo 5 in 2013. 2014 released the Destiny. the Master Chief Collection,
Oh,
which
yeah.
bided their time. So they had 2 whole years to work on it. And then 2015, they released Halo 5. So we are at this point now where we are so far ahead. I know they're different game styles because Destiny's an RPG. Halo was not. Halo was, an FPS shooter. It was not a looter, but it was the same formula of where you had all these different stories and then they had to come up with something new to keep the franchise going. So they announced, hey, we're going to release a game in a couple of years. Then they combined everything they had up to that point into one solid game just to extend, give them a little bit of a buffer time. Then they came out with their latest Halo 5. And then after Halo 5, they went out of, I don't want to say it went downhill, but they kind of like shied away. At that point in time, that's when Bungie kind of was disbanding and Destiny was booming because after Halo 5, Destiny 2 came out and that came out in 2017. So 2 years later again,
Yep.
Bungie releases this game, Destiny 2, to follow their first one, and then that just kind of like took off. I see this as a pattern. We're here again. Destiny's been going on since 20. What did you say, Gator?
2014.
2014.
Fall of
Right?
2014.
So we are 12 years. We're 11 and a half years ahead
Right.
from when the original game released. I think we're at that point now where they can release it, but it's hard to do it with an RPG because that's how you build your character. It's character crafting. It's a different type of game. But we're at the tracks again where they're splitting. So I'm curious as to what if Marathon is this new game to then bide their time for the next 2 years and then they can release a new kind of Destiny thing. I think they dropped the ball by starting a whole new saga, campaign, storyline, whatever. I'm going to say saga because they call it the Light Dark Saga. I think they dropped the ball by starting a new direction in the current game. I believe wholeheartedly they should have just kept the game done at the end of
Final Shape.
And maybe drop a teaser as to like, hey, this is what's coming next, or this is the direction, but we don't know what's going on. Like something in the background goes on and the player can be like, oh, hey, like what's going on over there? And then that's what we leave off with. Then they drop the new game, Destiny 3, and then maybe that's the opening scene is the last cutscene we saw in Final Shape, and that would just be the leap over of like, hey, here's the continuation, and then they could just take off with whatever they want. So I think they should have just ended it at Final Shape, announced something like Marathon or, a Destiny Evolved where people could just hang out, play all the old campaigns. Like, what if they just released it where it was purely co-op and you played just the campaigns and there wasn't any PvP? Except maybe you could do private matches if you wanted to. But that would just buy all this time so they could take 2 years off and make a Destiny 3, because then that'll allow them to keep this in the background. They don't have to worry about pushing out updates because they're like, hey, you guys can just play content we've already created. Maybe they just remaster it or something.
Yep.
Maybe they fix some tweaks. Or when they add in the old content, they can mix in the new weapons that are current. To me, that would buy all this time to then make the new game. So this is just history repeating itself with the Halo franchise, and that was part of Bungie back then before they split.
I'm going to throw another monkey wrench in this conversation. What if Marathon is a reverse Fortnite? Remember, Fortnite started out as a PvE game, and then once they turned over into a PvP game, it took off. What if this starts as a PvP game, and they decide to flip the switch and make it a PvE only game? That's always something to think about as well.
They would have to change so much in the game.
I understand.
PvE players don't want a game where you don't get to hold on to stuff. And
Fortnite did it. It's the biggest franchise ever now. They make hand over fist money right now. That thought just came in my head when Jellis was talking about history repeating itself.
It wouldn't be a game that Destiny players would like, though. If you're a Destiny PvE
I don't know, man.
player,
I dig this new world, man.
You would have to change so much of. No. You're talking about like you wouldn't have like builds with like guns, and you wouldn't be able to keep guns. And if they changed all of that, then it's not even the same game anymore.
Okay, well, it just it entered my mind. I figured I'd let it go and see where it went. So I realize that it's a lot of work, but I mean, what was Fortnite? Rule the World or something. It was a zombie game, man. I remember playing the zombie game portion of Fortnite.
Yeah, it was like you had to survive boards.
It was like building
building
a castle and trying to keep the hordes away. And the longer you could do it, the better. How did that become a frickin' what it is today, where they're bringing in Simpsons characters? And I mean, Epic's just making a crap ton of money right now. But anyway, amazing talker King. We haven't let you talk. You got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, a few things that Jellis was saying there is when they developed 4, that was taken over by 343. It wasn't really a Bungie thing. The Master Chief Collection was more of a cash grab to buy them time, as you said, for Halo 5.
Right.
But you also have to think that, most OG Halo players don't even play Halo anymore because 343 really just took the story and any developed like lore and like setting foundation that Bungie had developed and just kind of like, well, here's the fix to the problem that we just introduced one game ago. And they pulled a 180 out of nowhere. It's essentially like a good example that would happen in Destiny if they did the same exact thing for that type of storytelling would be, hey, the Witness is going to win if you don't beat him. We just beat the Witness, guys. Oh, but the other Witness just came out of the shadows. Because I mean,
he was in the shadows.
Well, that's kind of what we're getting though now.
It doesn't
to a degree.
It kind of seems that way now. It seems like Destiny always had the answers as far as they always had the grand plan of where things were going. It just seems so haphazard these days. What directions they're taking with this game, and I'm wondering who's steering the ship right now. I mean, the portal system.
For that specific question there, it's Sony. Sony now owns Bungie.
You think they're pulling the strings?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And the reason I say that is because
high level decisions.
The problem with Bungie now is they're no longer the independent that has a cash flow from a main studio head that's helping them develop in tandem as a partner process. It is now they have been gutted to an extent to they are now a Sony studio. And you're looking at the new way Bungie is now being structured, which is not something they've had to deal with in the past. Because Bungie, as a gaming studio and development company, is a very volatile past. They've created great games. There's no question about that. They have literally shaped the foundations of different genres of video games throughout time. They were originally an Apple development studio for Apple gaming.
Right.
If you didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember those days.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Halo was originally supposed to be a launching product for an Apple gaming machine, and then something fell through in the business model with Steve Jobs that they didn't want to continue that partnership.
Yeah.
And Steve Jobs basically was like, well, I don't need you because I have Apple to run.
Yep.
I built Pixar and Disney loved me for it. I'll build Apple even better. And I don't need your help for that. So you guys go do whatever. Microsoft picked them up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Halo was developed as the flagship selling point for the Xbox original console.
Mm-hmm.
They never had a structure where they were used to being told, no, you can't do that. It was literally Microsoft was, hey, here's the money. Go do your thing. Let us know if you need help with that. Then when Microsoft saw the volatility of hey, where's that game we asked for? We want, the next Halo game. Where's it at? Oh, we were just going to do a trilogy. We don't want to do that. Well, we have a 5-game contract. You guys got to make 5 games for us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll throw out ODST real quick. Give you some background between the adventures of Halo 2 and bridging the story of Halo 3 from a drop trooper's perspective versus a Spartan.
Yep.
And then Microsoft was like, hey, where's that other Halo game? We had a deal. Well, we don't really want to do that. We're making this other game that we can't really talk about, but it's going to be great. It's going to be big. We had a deal. You need to make us a game. All right, here's a prequel to the Halo franchise. This is what happened before Halo 1. All right, bye, we're gone.
Yeah.
Then Activision picked them up. And Activision originally was like, hey, we're going to treat you better. Don't worry about Microsoft. We got your back.
Autonomy.
Then they had autonomy, but they had the funding from a benefactor in the shadows. And when it came to following what the benefactor wanted towards the end, it was like, hey, that's not what we agreed upon. Yes, it is. You owe us this. We told you we wanted a new game every year in Destiny.
Yep.
Give us Destiny 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep churning them out. We want this to compete with Call of Duty. We want the PvP arena shooter, and we want the PvE light MMO genre.
They have been.
And
they just
Destiny
don't have
was
it.
like, I don't want to do that.
That's just called seasons. That's all they've done. They've created another game. They've just piggybacked it one on top of the other and the other and the other.
No. They wanted to all do game. Yeah.
Well,
No, yeah, they wanted a whole new game.
That's right. There was a continuous story. That's true. Yeah.
Which is really funny when you think about it, because in the end, when they split from Activision, what was the first business model they went with? We're going to have year adventures. We're going to make a new expansion every year. We're going to make a new game every year.
But on our terms.
And then they heavily started using seasons to tie those years in between to carry the content forward. So they kind of do what Activision wanted, but then they did it on their own. And then they were like, oh, we don't have this money flow anymore. We need more help.
Yep. Seasons and season pass bars was a good thing for this game.
And
I
here's another
personally disagree
example.
on that, because I don't
ahead.
like where seasons went. Seasons were the reason why I quit playing after Forsaken.
Really?
I quit playing between Forsaken and Shadowkeep because they were like, hey, we're going to work on the next expansion. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. It's going to be great. And it's the same reason I quit when they announced Rise of Iron before Destiny 2.
Wait a minute.
Because
I know you want to talk, Kingsley. You liked it when there was like
No, it's fine.
3 months of content, and then we waited and finally reached something else. I liked the seasons because it kept us involved. I mean, dude, there's a reason my backlog is so huge right now with games, because those damn seasons would integrate the major expansions together so well for me. It kept that carrot in front of me where I was always playing the game, and I give them kudos. It worked on me. But
how seasons are integrated now, I like. How they were integrated before, I didn't, because before you had to pay for the seasons to enjoy that content.
Right. Go ahead, Kingsley.
There was the first season was the Black Armory, or was the season of the Drifter? I can't remember which.
2.
You had to buy all 3
Drifter.
of those seasons in one sitting, or wait until after they were released to buy them afterwards. You couldn't access that content unless you paid for it. It was the same price as almost an expansion or something in a different game you could get.
Right.
Like, for good example, Skyrim, like the first expansion for Skyrim was, I think when it first came out was $10. The first season of Destiny was 15, 10, something like that. It was the same as a full DLC, but it was like, here's 9 missions. Right. It was like essentially going back to Dark Below with Crota.
Right.
Like the Crota was the most overpriced DLC I had ever seen in a game. I was not happy about that, but I got it on a discount rate when I got both the season pass for something.
Right. Gotcha.
And because I got it on a discount, I wasn't too upset about it. But when I played Crota for the first time, and the Dark Below was like, here's a mission, here's a raid. All right, goodbye.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kingsley.
Well, I wanted to finish that point because mine is slightly different, and we can loop back to this, but a really good example, Todd, of Sony already has precedence of, you could say, giving up on something or whatever. And again, I don't think that Sony is necessarily going to be giving up on Destiny, but again, it's about the sunk cost fallacy thing. So if Destiny keeps losing players and stuff, they should make some dramatic change, whether that's give up on it or have a new model, like cut it off, make a new game or whatever. But Sony just recently to kind of give up on their TV division, Sony Bravia, they passed ownership over to TCL, the company in China.
They're very much like Google sometimes.
They're still going to have Bravia branded TVs, but they're basically giving up on that. And that's a pretty big division, pretty big thing. Yeah.
It's, what was I going to say? Something was in my mind and it just floated away. Anyway, hopefully it'll come back to me. But
Sony's not the benevolent overlord that you sometimes think they are. You give a lot of credit to Sony.
I definitely want Killzone to come back. Guerrilla Games made a hell of a game there, man. I want that game back. That Killzone 2 was fantastic, and just subsequent, it just wasn't the same. And that's a side point, but sorry, my monkey brain will wander. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys chiming in on this. I know this is a to be continued topic. We'll probably revisit it at some point down the road, but
oh boy,
we've just had so much. This is the longest time that Bungie has not let us know what the hell is going on. And I figured it was time to have that discussion.
It's been longer.
Yeah, well,
Destiny 1, it was longer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We had 6 to 7 months of radio silence. I mean, nothing. And remember, what's the first thing they did when Destiny 2 came around, Kingsley? They said, we're going to make sure we talk to you every week. Without fail, we have a TWAB. This week this week at Bungie, we're going to talk to you every week. We're never going to We're never going to do what we did to you guys in Destiny 1. We're going to communicate every week to you guys. Crickets for the last 5 weeks. Now, I still think this has to be something to do with Marathon. I mean, I think that maybe they're stealing engineers and tech division from Destiny 1 to just get everything up to running good. I mean, there has to be a smooth run. They realize if it's a broken game when it comes out, it's dead in the water. It already has, the art scandal against it. It has so many things against it. I think they realize this has to land. So anyway. Okay. I think we need to.
Yeah, it's different now. Yeah. We have to have. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
It's all good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it like I said, we'll probably revisit this once we get more word of it's something telling us.
Yeah, we were talking very high level today, but I don't even think the bigger issue we should be concerned about right now is high level. It's more small level. It's still a live service game. Yeah. And we are in a really bad spot right now because one of the updates is supposed to be coming out soon, in theory, even though we pretty much know it's going to be getting pushed back. And that is a very, very, very bad business model. And whether that we don't have information yet, and whether we can blame it on Sony, which probably is most likely, or someone else in Bungie leadership, there's big issues with that. But on the high level, I don't think we need to worry about so much about what's happening in the long run. Maybe we'll find that out soon too. Yeah. I don't know. I was predicting, look, if there is a delay, we have to know within the next 2 weeks. We have to.
Jig is up.
Because then we're up to March 3rd. Yeah. And so they have to tell us something within the next 2 weeks. If there's not a delay, but there's pretty much guaranteed there's going to be delay because even more stuff is leaked out from employees that there's a delay. And if there's a delay, don't you think they would want to soften the bad news with giving us a state of play or the future of the game at the same time? So I don't know. But if they only tell us there's a delay and that's it, oof.
Everybody keeps saying that they're going to have to say something before this first part of March. But we're running down to the final couple of weeks here, guys. So
they don't have to. If there's the delay, then sense. All they have to do is just tell us there's delay, and that's going to be even worse news if they don't tell us good news also.
Yeah. Whatever system they're using now they've ventured off the path. There's no longer. It's just I've never felt this way, man.
So doesn't that kind of seem like Sony's not focusing on Destiny?
I don't know, man. I still think Sony gives Bungie a lot of leeway on what they decide to do. They realize that Bungie made this game. Bungie knows this game better than Sony does. I don't know how much leeway they're giving them. They're probably watching the purse strings, I'm sure. But in order for Destiny to take off again, they got to hire more people, man. If they're not going to bring people back from Marathon, they're going to have to build up the forces at the Destiny part of Bungie to make some good content again. But all right. Well, like I said, that was the 30,000 foot view for me, is the fact that Destiny's not going anywhere. I guess that's the crux of all of this blabbering that I did tonight. Is that there's no way that a game that hits the 1% threshold of all games is not going to be repeating itself in the future. We just don't know when. We just don't know when that's going to happen or what decisions they decide to make. And I'll leave it at there. So we have our catch-up part of our show coming up next. Curious to see what everybody's been up to since we talked to them last, right after this. Hey, Guardian, our show runs on Duncan. I mean, it's supported by our community. And by that, I mean our Patreon community. We're nearly 100 strong now. And if you want to join an awesome group of people and get the benefits like a private channel with myself and Kingsley Mack and all of our other Patreon members out there, not to mention special badges in our Discord community, years of behind the scenes, special audio and video episodes just for our patrons, and it's really simple. Just go to guardiandoutcast.com and hit that Patreon button to find out more. You can Also join us for free. So what do you got to lose? If you've received any value from the show today, keep those corporate sponsors out of our podcast by simply joining our awesome community at patreon.com/support Guardian Downcast. Later, Guardians. Okay, this is the last segment of our show. This is where we like to just catch up. It's kind of more casual, laid back. We know we've already talked about our topics now. Now we're just going to catch up with our guests tonight, our guest co-hosts, see what they've been doing since we talked with them last. I know I've talked with you pretty recently, Jellis, but definitely let everybody know what have you been doing in your life, man? What's going on? What are you playing? What are you watching? Let us know what's going on in your life, man.
All right, so in that order, what I'm playing is Arc Raiders. I've been playing that a lot.
Yep.
I have found a love for extraction looters, where I get to go into a game that's PvE, I like the thrill of not knowing if the person I come across is going to shoot me in the back or team up with me and fight others. So that's a nice little twist on the game that I'm enjoying. I also like how I can leave with my gear and go back in with the same set gear, so I don't have to start from scratch every time. And if I end up playing PvP in the match and I win the fight, I sometimes find better gear than what I came in with. It snowball from there. Just keep getting better and better. So that's a nice little twist that I'm enjoying right now. But watching, not really watching much. Waiting for some movies to come out, but not really a lot of time on movies. So I'm just spending it playing video games or working.
Yeah. How's work been? How's work been going, man?
Work's been going pretty good. I'm not directly a foreman, but I am in charge of a team for a certain part of the job. We got different crews working on certain things, so that way people can keep a flow state of what they're working on in the project. Instead of pulling people off of projects and having different things, we kind of have a same team doing the exact same stuff.
Right.
We're currently building a school campus. It's a K through 12. We got almost half of it done, I want to say. We're expected to be done in November, and they're actually going to have the kids transfer into this campus over winter break, which I think is insane.
Wow. That's
the
crazy.
Teachers are going to be working during their winter breaks, transferring all their supplies and all their books and stuff, into the school over their winter break.
Yep. My wife
I'm
just
hoping
went through
that they get compensated for that, because I don't know if they get paid time off for the
Teachers
winter
never
break, the 2 weeks because they're planning. I don't know.
It's part of their salary.
So if they're coming in to transfer, okay.
Yeah, it's part of their salary.
But I don't know if they're going to get compensated for doing that during their winter break.
No, my wife gets
they're going to take
less
time
to
move all their stuff over, move in, set up their computers.
No. Teachers have so many other things they do outside of their job
the project's going very well.
Yeah. Okay. Good, man. It's good to hear.
You made me laugh the other week because you're like, man, record lows at 20 degrees. And I'm like,
that's
116.
No, that 24-degree night we had, it has decimated all the green life here in Florida, and it's depressing when I show up to a lawn and it's brown. But no, that's a 134-year record. 134-year record. Fastest, the coldest beginning to February in 134 years. That was right after was it right before World War II? It's a long time, man. It's a long time. So, it's good to hear from you, man. I know we talked about you were working on that school when I talked to you during the Christmas episode. So, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. My wife just moved in a couple of years ago to a brand new K-8 school, and they had drains that weren't even connected yet and bathrooms, and they were having water falling down on the floors below, and it was a disaster, man. They pieced those schools together so fast. It's craziness. Yeah. Amazing Taco King. What have you been up to, man? It's been a whole year since we've talked with you, man. What's going on in your life? What you been doing?
Yeah, I mean, since we last spoke, I started doing things that I normally don't do. I stopped telling myself, no, you really don't want to do that because you're going to do it by yourself, and just started doing things that I wanted to do. When we last spoke, I was excited to go see Bullet for My Valentine and Trivium on their Poison Ascendancy tour, which ended in some drama there. But it was an awesome show. And then after that, I mean, didn't have a ton going on after that for the most part, but towards the end of the year, MagicCon came to Atlanta, went to MagicCon. That was fun. It was a great weekend. Rode the train into the city. got to go downtown to the Congress Center, see a lot of things that hobby I've been passionate about for 27 years, give or take.
No, wait a minute. You say Magic the Gathering, or actual Magic shows?
Yeah, Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm making sure.
Yeah. And then after that, it wasn't too much long after that. Me and my buddy that I spoke about earlier in the show, me and him went to Chicago to see Avenged Sevenfold and System of a Down because, System of a Down only showed up for 6 shows in North America last year. And I was like, I'm not missing them. I haven't seen System of a Down ever. And I'm not a huge concert person personally, but after that Bullet show, I was like, I'm going to start seeing concerts more.
It was Elbow for me.
And I went and did that. That was amazing.
Saw Elbow in UK with my buddy Hayoka. My wife loves going to concerts now. In fact, we're going to see Styx, front row, second row tickets. And it's one of the big theaters here, big theater gigs here in downtown Orlando. And we're seeing them the end of this month. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to talk to you about it. I got to see Styx in concert because these guys are so old now. I may never see them tour again. This is kind of like my last ditch effort to see this concert. So yeah, I'm with you, man. As long as it's not like Van Halen 1986 where I couldn't hear for a week afterwards because the freaking music was so loud. Lakeland Civic Center, man, that was nuts, man. As long as it's not like that, I'll definitely be going to see more concerts as well, man. I'm with you on that. Anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, we use ear racers to help with high decibel stuff.
I think I'm going to wear my AirPods.
They're pretty great.
What do you think, Kingsley? You think that'll be good hearing protection with the AirPods, the Pros?
They do work. They do work pretty good as long as you have a good seal fit. Yeah. They will de-amplify. So make sure it fits good. But they do actually work really good in concerts to help with noise.
I think we're going to bring them just in case, and we can always put them in our pocket and then pop them in if it just is way too loud. So, yeah, I want to make sure I give you ample time to talk, Taco King. Anything else you want to mention, man?
I mean, next adventure for me is I'm going out to Vegas in May to go to MagicCon in Vegas.
Nice, man.
Other than that, gaming wise, just been playing Code Vein 2 and Neo 3 that just came out, and looking forward to the next Diablo expansion.
I think my son's playing Code Vein right now. Yeah, cool deal, man. I know nothing about these games. Like I said, I only play Destiny.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's like Souls. Okay, I got you. Kingsley Mack, what you been up to this week, brother?
I watched a movie again that I think Hazel mentioned it on the show a long time ago, and then I checked it out, and I didn't realize they made a follow-up to it. It's called The Platform on Netflix. It's like a sci-fi thriller thing where there's different levels. There's 333 levels, and people pass food from the top level down to the lower level. It's almost like a jail system or whatever.
Really?
Very dystopian type sci-fi thriller type movie.
Okay.
Anyways, I wanted to rewatch it again, and I appreciated it more the second time. And then there was a Platform 2 that came out in 2024, and I didn't know that. And I watched that one, and that one is even better. One of the few rare times where a sequel is just as good or better than the original movie. And I highly recommend. Now, it's not for everyone. There's a lot of, fair amount of violence in it, but look at all the parental guidance stuff if you're not sure. But I liked the movies, and it's not like scary thriller. It's so much. It's just intriguing. It's more sci-fi-ish and stuff. And but boy, if you can get into it and get through the second movie, it is just brilliant how they tie some things together. There was a lot of bombs dropped at the end, and I even had I thought I figured it all out, but then I watched a YouTube video the Platform 2 ending explained, just to kind of confirm some of my suspicions and really figure out how the lore tied together.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing
that. I had a lot of fun with that.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, good, fun movies. I mean, I'd finished my third watch through of Better Call Saul officially, also this last week.
It's a great show, man.
Rewatched Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul is just as good. The third, if you like the show at all, you figure out even more. And I still think overall, it's hard to say. Breaking Bad is even though this doesn't make sense, it's a more overall just relaxing show to watch, because Better Call Saul just gets so much more deep, emotionally wise. There's a lot of heavy, sad topics and stuff, even though you would think, well, the other one's drug and people fighting and stuff. But in a way, just think of it as an action movie. Not really, but it has deep topics and stuff. But boy, watching Better Call Saul again all the way to the end, it's kind of depressing, but in a good way.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It's a little more darker. It's darker.
Yeah. And then,
Definitely.
well, yeah, darker emotionally wise.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad's darker, like theme wise.
Yeah, but
like
it's kind of
themes and stuff like
kind
that.
of
But
sad, a little more sad. A little more sad the way that.
yes, definitely.
The poor guy
Even though
just
it's
never gets a
generally,
break, man. Better call Az.
Well, for
Better
good
Call
reason.
Saul, Guardian Down Cast.
He has many faults.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Had a lot of fun, as always, doing different raids in Destiny. And I'll mention again a Wednesday night raid because you may or may not mention Saturday night raids, but we went into Desert Perpetual because some people wanted to get more experience with it. And we basically got like 2 encounters done. We get super far, but we had probably like 3 or 4 people that had a little less experience. No, actually we even had to move some of us around, like me, Kate, and Zombie, came from, our Saturday night crew, but we even moved some of our positions around to kind of help with what people want to do with the other crew. And so it's just fun to have a harder raid that I don't generally still recommend bringing 3 people in that have less experience, unless you're super chill about it. We're not expecting to get it done, but just kind of learn more and get through however many encounters we can. If you're good with that experience, which we all were, it was a lot of fun. And it was good to kind of, you need to try, especially Hydra. We need to get more people trying the outside position in Hydra, because let me tell you, you'll get a much better feel for and you need to do more than just the jumping platform in the Wyvern, because you can really get a better feel for the raids if you do other positions.
I plan on doing that. I know
we're doing other things now.
Yeah.
Salvation's Edge, and I'll pass that over to you because I don't need to talk about it if you're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Salvation's Edge. We got the first 2. I played this one time, and almost a year ago, probably 9 months ago. I had one Sherpa team bring me through it, and
we decided to do it.
We decided to learn it
for our Saturday crew, right?
Yep, we're doing it for our Saturday crew. Shout out to Mr. Sin Media, Zombie Pops, Allocate, Ronan Redline, of course, Kingsley Mac, and we did pretty well. Ronan's of course he got probably a few more reps in than we did, and he was very good at explaining what we're supposed to do. And I watched a Cactus video. I learned the first few encounters, and there's a lot in that raid, man. There's a lot to do in that raid. Well, I know the main mechanic once you get that down, but we haven't even got to the main crazy mechanic that they added in last minute. I can't remember what that encounter is called, but yeah, shout out to those guys. I always have a good time. It doesn't even matter if we complete it or not. That's the way we learned Desert Perpetual. Every week we would just, get the first 2 encounters, and we get the first 3 encounters, and then we'd get the whole raid done, and then we just get better and better at it. And it's all about the reps. So I'm having a lot of fun on Saturday nights. Actually, we're going to run, I think you and Kate are in it. We're going to run with some of the UK contingent in the Guardian Down Roundtable this week. I think 4:00 on Saturday. I'll probably stream that. We're going to run, I don't know what raid we're going to run, but they wanted to do some raiding, and it's UK friendly time. So I'll be running.
Hey, if it's running UK, Friday night. You should say UK time, not Eastern time.
Yeah, it'll be 9 p.m. UK time.
Yes, they are running it Friday night.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You say Friday night or Saturday night? I thought you said it was Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't keep track.
Gosh, you've gotten that wrong twice now. It's tomorrow. It's Friday night.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're right. Saturday. Friday's what we're doing our raid, and then Saturday.
I said Friday, and you said, no, man, that's on Saturday. I'm like, okay,
I got confused because
I thought I was going to have to get off work early and stuff. Anyway, I haven't been.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, Saturday, right? Okay. Make sure I'm not losing my mind. I did
Yes,
not.
It's Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't see any movies in the theater this week. My wife has had a lot. I mean, the last 2 weeks has been crazy for her. She's had all kinds of school functions going on. So she gets home, she's exhausted. And we just decided it wasn't really much to watch this week, but there are 4 good movies coming out next week we want to watch. First, Crime 101. It's a Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry movie. It's a good old crime thriller, man. Remember Heat, Al Pacino? It's going to be, Robert De Niro type movie. It's going to be that kind of movie, real intense. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, starring Sam Rockwell. It's about a man who takes patrons at a diner hostage in L.A., claiming he's from the future. All of this, he's trying to find recruits for a quest to save the world. I know it sounds a little out there, but once I heard Gore Verbinski was the director, It got my attention. So, and it got good reviews. So I'm looking forward to that. Wuthering Heights, the iconic love story from the novel starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. I'll be honest, this was my wife's pick. But every time she picks a movie, man, and I go kicking and screaming, it's a good movie. So we'll see. And then finally, The Moment. It's kind of an independent movie about Charlie XCX and stars Alexander Skarsgård. It's about Charlie's upcoming tour and how she's caught up. She has this great summer break with Alexander Skarsgård, and it's just so much pressure mounting on her to stay on top in the music industry. And it talks about, I guess, her struggle to get back into the flow of her tour and stuff. It might be a sleeper movie. I renewed my subscription to Peacock, which, by the way, shot way up in price. If you don't want the ads, it's $17 a month if you don't want the ads. But I am watching the latest season of Traitors. I don't know what's about this show, man. It just gets me. And it's a bunch of fake, over the top reality TV stars. They throw them in a castle together, and it's like a Big Brother on steroids kind of thing. But it's a really cool social experiment. And if you've never seen Traitors, watch like season 1, and I'm telling you, it's a really great next season. By the way, they're using regular people, which I think is always more interesting because they're not so, being able to read what they're going to do. And sometimes they try to go over the top, and it's just so fake. Anyway, I talked about the raids we're doing. I did start my game of the month for February, which is Arc Raiders. I did start playing it last night. Shout out to everyone who stopped by the stream to watch it. It was a little awkward at first, learning new menus and stuff. This is the reason why I really hate trying new games, man. But I played it on my PS5 Pro. Never had any problems. It ran great. I had a toggle button on my controller. I was supposed to be using it, but it wasn't working. So I got to figure out what's going on there because I was wanting to talk to some people when I was in there and interact with them. But I would just use the don't shoot emote or shout out or whatever, and nobody shot me. Played 4 or 5 matches and nobody shot me. So it was a very friendly server. I was just collecting stuff, got to get my bounties done. So I'm collecting wire and batteries and all that good stuff. So I'm enjoying the game. It's a lot of fun. The maps are enormous, and I'm only allowed to play 1 map right now. There's 4 other maps, I think. So I'm looking forward to playing that. I'll be streaming that next week as well, either Tuesday or Wednesday. It depends on our movie schedule. Let's get into our questions for the show. We will pick a couple questions tonight before we leave. And I have a question from Always Lethal. Sorry. The way it's run together, it's throwing me off. He has a Destiny question here. He goes, as a sum of what new Guardian, do you have any tips from getting me from 400 to 450 light, or power they call it? Number 2, also, I really want to learn raids and dungeons, especially since I've never done any of them. Is there easier ones to start with? And if so, which ones should I start with? Well, I got 3 experts in front of me here. 400 to 450 power. Let's address that first. What do you got to do? What tips you guys got for him as far as going from 400 to 450? I guess I should answer that because I'm the one that likes the number go up, right? It's solo ops, a lot of solo ops. You can play some fire team ops. You can play, anything in the portal system is really the fastest way to rank up your power. You can run raids and stuff, but you just mentioned that you haven't really run a raid. That'll give you powerful gear too. But unfortunately, and this is the reason why Destiny's in such a tough place now, if you want to raise your power to 4 to 450, solo ops is how I did it. And it's just grind. It's just grind, man. They call it the salt mines for a reason. That's for me. What do you guys say? Is there another way to go 4 to 450, guys? Go ahead, Tucker.
I mean, for me personally, I would say it depends on, what class they're trying to level up first. Because different classes have different strengths and weaknesses for different types of content, depending on your build. If they're playing Titan, I mean, honestly, the easiest thing that I found to do with Titan right now is go to Pinnacle Ops, pick your favorite strike, max out, whatever settings for your level that you have out there to get a guaranteed upgrade every time, and then just use the Stronghold Practical Blade build because you're basically unkillable as long as you hold down guard.
On your sword. Yeah. Or you can use the Arc Buddy build
you can,
with your Warlock. Just destroy fools.
There are so many things you can do. Just because you like solo ops, really, you can do anything in the portal except for the quick play stuff. Anything will level you up. Some people will even just run the dungeon, even if they don't have a team. You can just run the first encounter. You can do any of the other stuff in the portal, just as long as it's not quick play, because with quick play, I think maxes out at 400. But anything else in the portal will give you level up stuff. You can do I know you don't like it, but a lot of people are enjoying the Flawless Frontier stuff. That'll level you up too. Anything in the portal except for quick play.
Play the campaign, obviously. That'll give you powerful gear as you play through as well. Jellis, Amazing Taco King, any other? For 400 to 450, you want to throw out there that we haven't mentioned?
Stacking on with Kingsley and Deadpool on work, running the dungeon and adding on the difficulty. You don't gotta complete the dungeon, but the higher difficulty gives you the higher loot.
Right.
So if you can find a build that you could like solo with a little bit, you don't only do the first encounter.
Right.
That's always a nice one. If you can handle the waters, I would try a little bit of trials, but that one's not as easy to do. And doing the salt mines is always gonna be the fastest way to do it.
All right, his second part. What's the easiest raid to learn if he wants to jump in and do his first raid? What would you guys recommend?
Well, everyone knows it's Vaulted Glass. It's kind of boring the first half of it, but it is the easiest raid.
Okay.
So
yeah, mechanically speaking, Vault.
It's not going to give you. It's not going to give you the good stuff unless you want the actual weapons that are in it. But again, power. We can infuse it. I mean, you can.
It's true.
So, but as far as just answering the question, what's the easiest raid? It's Vaulted Glass.
Okay, I agree. I think that's the easiest one to jump into. Let's answer.
I would say as an alternative, though. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
As an alternative, you want to learn a raid that's a little bit more intricate with some mechanics and stuff, but isn't super difficult, just has a little bit of randomness to it.
Right.
I'd say King's Fall, personally.
Okay. Let's answer.
King's Fall's a good lower middle ground. It doesn't get too crazy, but it's very fun.
I think if you have good Sherpas, there's probably a variety of raids you can jump into and start with. If you have good people that can teach you.
Well,
within reason.
Yeah, but you have to be able to execute too. We can have the best Sherpas in the world, and if they don't execute.
But there's probably 3 raids you can send him to that he'll probably be okay with. But we'll see. We'll see.
Sure. But like really the difference between once you go above Vaulted Glass, it jumps quite a bit. Like the next raid, next quote, easiest raid is nowhere near Vaulted Glass.
Okay. We'll stick with that then. Let's answer a non-Destiny question here before we go. We have a few in here. I'll answer them probably in order here. Barrel Barley, what is your favorite one-hit wonder song? One-hit wonders. One-hit wonder songs.
Friday. No, I don't know. That's came to
you know the song I came up with, Kingsley?
Answer. It is not my answer.
What was that song that was in Heretic?
What? Oh, geez. That's a one-hit wonder song?
Yeah, I think so. That was the air that you breathe, I think it was called.
I didn't know that was a one-hit wonder.
They might have one, maybe 2 more songs, but that was the major one that really did well for them. I'll have to look it up now.
Then it's not a one-hit wonder. If they have 2 other songs.
You guys got something?
I got 2 throwbacks that'll really date me. You got Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Yes, I thought of that too.
Okay, that's a classic.
I got one. Wear Sunscreen by was it Lerman? Buzz Lerman? The one that tells you whatever you do, remember to wear sunscreen. There's a lyric in there that I have pinned right here. It says, remember the compliments you receive, forget the insults. That's a lyric from that song that I have pinned to my side here as I look through YouTube comments. I'm trying to remember who that is.
I don't know that I know that song. I'd have to hear it.
Oh yeah. You've definitely heard it before. Yeah. It has like a beat to it. Yeah, there it is. The Hollies, the air that we breathe, the Hollies. But no, they definitely have a few more hits. So I guess that doesn't qualify, but I mentioned one already. So
this is an honorable mention due to MTV no longer being around anymore. So in honor of them, the song was by the Bugles.
Bugles.
Video Killed the Radio Star.
That is a good song.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
a good one.
That is a good one. Definitely.
So, tribute to MTV not being a thing anymore because now we have streaming. MTV is now
Yeah.
no longer. So I'm curious as to what the final video was because I believe Video Killed the Radio Star was the first. I could be wrong, but I feel like that the music video for Video Killed the Radio Star was the first MTV broadcast. I wondered what they used as their final, if like maybe they did the first video as their last video. I don't know.
That would have been cool.
That would have been.
Yeah, we should look it up.
But
Cool.
that is my mention for One Hit Wonder.
Okay.
I'll look it up right now while we're talking.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go and close out the show tonight. I just wanted to thank everyone who showed up tonight. Remember, we have our Destiny contest to celebrate our new rebrand. Our guest co-host tonight donated a Year of Prophecy Collector's Edition, a $175 value. All you have to do is go to the Destiny contest channel. It's at the very top of our Discord server and enter a picture of your favorite look on your Titan. And you may be judged, but that's okay. That's why we all have different colored Titans out there, different kinds of Titans. Sorry, I'm thinking Titans now. Guardians. And show us a picture. You can only enter one time, so give us your best. And then we'll put your name on the Wheel of Names. And the first episode of March, we will spin the wheel and we will see who wins. And our wonderful patron community will pay for the shipping, wherever that may be. And I saw that there is an Australian entry. God help us if he wins. But hey, man, a win's a win. So it may take, 4 weeks to get to you if you win, but a win's a win. But I just want to remind everybody about that. Don't forget, we have till the end of the month. Enter your best looking Guardian in our Destiny contest channel in our Discord community. And I'll give it a thumbs up, letting you know that I saw it, and we'll have you entered. And we'll see who wins it's an awesome statuette of a Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. I think the Warlock's even throwing I think it's like a solar class. He's throwing like solar swords or something. I don't know, but it looks really
Daybreak.
good. Yeah, the Daybreak one. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really good.
It's a really good solid resin statue. Like I was really impressed at the quality.
It's I want to say it was like 11 to 14 inches high. It's pretty big. And the box is as big as a computer. It's really big. You open it up and I'm sure it's got all kinds of cool stuff in it. It's still sealed. I haven't touched it. It's sitting here in my office waiting to find a home. So don't forget, before the end of the month, while you're thinking about it right now, if you're listening to the podcast right now, go to Guardian Downcast, discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Enter your Guardian. It could be any kind of picture. It doesn't have to be in any kind of form or anything, as long as you can download the picture in there. And let us know your best looking Guardian, and we'll be sure to enter you into that contest. I think that is all we have to talk tonight. A big shout out to our Patreon community, especially our Raid Boss patrons, 2 of them right here in our show tonight. Amazing Taco King and Jellis Gaming. And we don't want to forget Frostbite as well. I hope he's doing well. Hope he's killing it out there. But other than that, I wanted to make sure I gave you guys both a chance to give a shout out to somebody that you want to give a shout out to before we leave tonight. Jellis, got a shout out for anybody? Doesn't have to be.
Shout out to Frostbite.
Yeah.
Frost. Shout out to him.
Nice. Amazing Taco King, got a shout out for anybody?
Yeah, shout out to my 2 friends that I mostly play Fire Team with, and that's Zitping and Cyclops Caveman. They're both brothers, actually, and we've been friends for years. I've known them since high school, so shout out to them. And then wherever my old raiding crew is, shout out to Lumina and Mia. Missed them.
Nice. Kingsley, you got a shout out for anybody
Oh,
today?
I forgot of it. I used to play with Lumina and Mia.
Yeah, I know those 2. They love their bows.
Did we raid
man.
together then too, Taco? Or
No, they were doing their own thing. We ran Val all the time. We have a group chat called Val the Disciple Psychos.
Nice.
Because I feel like Lumina came from Guardian Hub, and we used to Sherpa Lumina all the time. Unless we're talking about
that's how I got in the Guardian Hub Discord servers, because
Gotcha.
They put out an owl bot for raiding for Val, and I signed up, and they did it through Guardian Hub Discord.
Nice. All right.
Well, I'll just give a shout out to Lumina then also.
There you go.
Lumina was definitely in when we won one of the raid races. So
that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Mia together were dominant in our little Crucibles scrims as well. They were pretty good there as well.
Yeah, Mia's brutal with a bow.
She is. She's really good. It's really good. They worked well. I think he would heal him. I think he was always using the Lumina, and he was always healing her while she was killing fools. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a good partnership. That's for sure. Remember those two. Well, for you audio listeners, you get to hear me at the end of the show. Isn't that nice? I wanted to thank you all for hanging out. I know this week, it was a long show. We're working on that part. I know some of you want it even longer. I've had people message me and say, man, I can do this for 4 hours. I'm sorry. I'm old. I can't. And we're going to try to keep it to that 2.5 hour mark. So in the future, I know there's a lot packed into one show, but that's on me. That's on me that the shows go long. But I do love that you guys listen to the end. Thank you for those of you diehard fans that listen to the end. And I just want to thank our Patreon community for giving back to our community. We'd have to run ads. And I don't know if you guys have listened to many podcasts out there, but everybody's running ads. It's crazy. I hate ads. I hate ads. If we did run ads in our show, it would give us funding to our to our Discord community and all of our community services and stuff. But I don't want to do that. I want to buck the system. I want our Patreon community to decide what to do with the show and how they should fund it and all that stuff. So we have nearly 100 Patreon members now. We have tons of bonus content. We have special roles in the Discord. We have private channel just for our supporters of the show, our Patreon members. And also our YouTube members are also a part of that community as well. So if you enjoyed today's episode and you received any value for your time today, be sure to share the episode with some others out there who like gaming and let someone know about our community. You can send them to guardiandowncast.com for all the information they need. You don't need to give them any links or anything. Just say, hey, guardiandowncast.com. It's the only place you need to go. So for whatever game you're into these days, be sure to take breaks, hydrate, and touch grass. JD Kent.
The path to victory is long, but there's always hope. Fight!
Thank you all so very much for listening. And whether in life or in your game, get your reps in. Later, Guardian.
Overtime. Let's do this.
Nice. I liked it. Good show, guys. Sorry, that went on longer than I expected. We were getting off to such a fast start, and we tend to get off on the deep end sometimes on some of these. We're still working out how the show's going to be put together. We still got a little bit of tweaking to do, and we'll figure it out.
I knew it would be this long. It's what I expected.
Easy, owe you $5.
I can't do 3-hour podcasts anymore. I can't do them, guys, but we came close tonight. So we got close.
Yeah, I can't either.
We did
I can't either. I know.
We get really close to a 3-hour podcast.
Yep.
It's unheard of. We haven't done that in a while. So, well, thanks everybody.
I think one of the suggestions I saw someone made earlier was do the catch up in the beginning and then go into the topics. That might help out with pacing.
I know who said that too. And, the thing is a lot of people tune in. They want to hear the meat of the topics. They want to hear the topics first. And, the real listeners stick to the end. They want to hear about our lives, what we've been doing, what we've been gaming. And I even have a little outro I put out for the audio listeners after the show's off tonight. And I mean, and probably some of you don't know this, but during the end music in the audio version, there's actually another audio blurb that I put in there. Actually, a couple places, in fact, for the diehard listeners who listen all the way through the music. Yeah. So not many people know that. I know
I'm
the
one of
diehard
those.
fans that do. I know
I
the ones
like
that
it when you
listen.
bring back the old tracks.
I
Especially
kept,
the last blurb that you put in there, PV penis.
yeah, I put that one in a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Well, I'm always going to keep that ending music because that's kind of our legacy. Is that music? We bought that and licensed it a long time ago. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for
I'd like
hanging
to
out with
add
us.
Video Killed Radio Star to the playlist.
Video
That's
killed.
still going on.
You know what? I'll add it. Yeah, we still got the playlist out there. I'll add it. DM me the link in our show. DM
Okay,
Jellis. I'll be sure to add it. And to all fairness, if you want to add a song, Taco King, just throw it in there, and I'll add it to the playlist too. We'll have like an informal playlist ad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. As in life or in your game, thank you for being here tonight, and get your reps in. Later, Guardians.
Get that bread.
See ya.
And as Hazel would say, get toggled.
Oh, Lord. And remember, what do they need to remember? Let's see. So, for whatever game, no.